bring things back to some semblance of normal. Speaking of which, I think we're about to take off.
Yep, here we go. Now, both of our runners are probably not going to go for the so-called meme play and go down to Brinstar to check one item in logic, one item out of logic, because it's kind of a time waste and it gets you into Link to the Past about 2 minutes later than you would normally get into there. So we're probably just going to go see them go straight into this door to get into Link to the Past. One of 4 doors in the game that will take you in between the two.
Alright, Lake Hylia Island, Missile Pack, probably not our first one.
Yeah, won't be needing the mirror for that. In Link's house is the... Ooh, that's a grapple beam there. That opens up quite a few items dotted around Super Metroid. It gets them into X-ray room, it gets them into a lot of other locations. With a couple of other items, it will also get them into my least favorite location in the entire game. In the entire of the 2 games, in fact. But we won't talk about that just yet.
We're still in the early game, Ocelot. Let's focus on the stuff that we can achieve. Hearts on the tree pull, not what we were hoping to achieve, but who knows, it may come in handy in a pinch. Now, how about Uncle's last remains over here? Piece of heart, plus some free magic from the jars. How about the Uncle himself? Looks like both of our runners will encounter him at the same time, and we have early silver arrows.
That is an excellent early game find. Assuming, of course, we find the bow of it. Due to the nature of the combo randomizer, the bow is quite often your critical go mode item, and you can find it really, really late in the siege, which would be incredibly unfortunate with the timing of those silver arrows. And I'm actually surprised that both of them decided to check out the Uncle before going into Kakariko mode. A lot of the plays so far in the tournament have been to go straight into Kakariko, check that out for items, see if you can find a sword or maybe a Super Metroid item or two, and then make your play from there, whether you're going to go to Escape or possibly into Eastern Palace and knock out the Uncle and the front of Escape all in one go.
Well, Breakdown... Go ahead.
Sorry.
Breakdown taking the southern path, Pikapals getting loaded up on bombs, take it from here.
20 rupees at the race game, and what I wanted to say was that Breakdown immediately subverted my expectations and is taking the south route into Kakariko. So he's probably going to put off that lumberjack for a little bit, or he may decide to go do it after Lost Woods, but that's not usually the path taken if you're doing the south route into Kakariko. We saw there was just a hard container at lumberjack, so we are not going to need Aga 1 for that today.
Lost Woods, Speed Booster.
Gets you around super quick, but in the other game, we're stuck at walking speed here in Link to the Past. Ooh, and a Quake medallion in the Thieves' hideout.
And here is where Breakdown's one bomb will come in handy for those that ever need to farm bombs. 4 corner pots, there you go.
Yeah, if you're gambling on not getting enough money to buy bombs in Kakariko if needed, or you just want to save your money for the Bottle Fender or the King Zora, this is a great bomb farming spot, so long as you get one bomb to be able to open the door in the first place. Oh, and even get a bomb from the small rat there.
I am curious in that none of our runners chose to go for the Houlihan strategy to fill up on rupees before coming here, but perhaps we may get lucky and find a 50 pack or even more.
Yeah, surprisingly, I haven't seen Houlihan done too much. It's usually done post Kakariko, or if the runners are lucky enough to find some early paragraphs to get them into the gravestone that would normally lead to the back of Escape. We see that there's a lamp at the bottom of Blind's hideout, which is a really nice early game find again.
At least we don't have to worry about dark rooms here. Now, how about the well?
Some flying bombs for the other game.
More flying bombs.
and a spacer beam. So that breaks down at about 50 rupees of that big 20 inside the well. So it would be enough to buy some bombs, still not enough to check out the bottle fender. But given that Pikapals has cleared out Blind's hideout and gotten a lot more money there, he is got enough bank for the bottle fender. And he's just holding some more flying bombs at a bit of a premium.
Unfortunately, apparently the bottle vendor, I've seen better, I've seen worse, but something I have noticed, our runners have plenty of missiles and supers. I think by this point, we have 3510 available. And who knows what else we'll get once our runners go to the southern shore.
That said, all those missiles aren't going to help them get anywhere in Super Metroid if they can't learn to roll up in the ball or jump good with the speed booster or space jump or high jump. But they do have the speed booster for breaking through a few blocks that's impossible, such as the rest portion of Criteria.
Yeah, the speed booster does allow us to take that path through Terminator and into Green Brinstar, but I don't know if that is something I would feel comfortable doing, at least if I was playing this seed.
EA can end up with some really awkward logical checks if you find Speed Booster early but no Morph Ball. It might be that there's an item in the early Supers room in Green Brinstar, but you can't even clean out all of the early Supers room because you don't have the Morph Ball to get into the back portion.
Now, Pikapals is making an interesting decision, going immediately to the mini Moldorm cave instead of heading to the reservoir. But the only... Go ahead.
Sorry.
So, I'm not sure I understand the play, but fortunately, 2 bombs left. And that mini Moldorm is causing problems.
One bomb left, and that puts him at 0 for the Ice Cave, and he is out. Does he have enough? Nope, not enough magic for Kraid, apparently.
Not only no magic, but no sword.
Oh, yes. Now, what I was going to say is that I've often seen people skip the dam because they're planning to root in the dam and Agnes Cave at the same time. But it looks like Pika is going to resort to checking out the dam anyway and leaving Mini Moldom because no bombs left.
And unfortunately, without bombs, we also lose out on Agina's Cave and the Ice Rod Cave in one fell swoop.
But if you looked at what the bush crab drops there, it was dropping packs of 8 bombs, so Pika is going to be able to top up quite easily if he remembers to check that crab.
That is a fair point. I thought I saw that, but the action was going by a little quickly in the early going.
So this is costing Pikapals about a minute here, but considering that these combo races can often go over 3 hours, 4 hours, it's not too big a deal. And actually, Mini Moldom is not too big of a deal by itself anyway. We just find a lot of explosives inside.
But not the explosives we are necessarily looking for. Yes, super missiles are great, but we want bombs. Morph ball bombs specifically. Power bombs wouldn't hurt, but in order to use either of those, we still need the morphing ball.
Now, speaking of Houlihan, Pikapals doesn't know about the bush crab, so he is going to farm some money, probably to buy bombs. Ooh, Breakdown's on his way to the Ice Rod Cave, but the crabs have taken out most of his health.
Joys of crabs dealing 2 hearts of health, one of the strongest overworld enemies in Link to the Past. Gets through, though. And the reward is... Piece of Heart.
So yeah, Pikapals is going to go into the shop here, grab some bombs, and then probably go to the south route again. Oh, that was a very quick map check, and all I saw was a pendant on Eastern Palace. I'm not even sure which pendant it was.
Blue pendant. So it was blue pendant, crystal 2, and crystal 7, I believe, in that order.
Pikapals is doing something quite odd here. He's gambling. There's nothing in Mini Moldor, which is a very good gamble, even though there's 5 items you can get in there, and heading straight to Eastern. He's basically playing on the fact that I've wasted a lot of time trying to get into the Mini Moldor. I'm just going to skip it and go check out Eastern already, because Breakdown is probably doing this.
Green pendant in Swamp Palace. Sahasrar's closet contains reserve tank, our first one, and missiles.
So neither of our runners have a weapon yet for getting through Eastern Palace. They can check out the big key chest, which is in logic thanks to that lamp, but they cannot really kill anything there, save through using bombs and pots. And obviously they cannot go over and kill Amos Knights either.
However, perhaps one of our 3 items will be the bow. It's something I have seen before.
Considering they have no paragraph yet, so after they do clear out Eastern, they pretty much only got Agina left, and after that they will have to head into Super Metroid to retrieve stuff. So very similar routing by both of our runners today. Compass in the first chest.
So when I was talking about the 3 items, technically I'm referring to 3 items that are not the common dungeon items. That would include small keys, big key, map, and compass. So we can potentially see... Well, we may see one right here on Pikapals' side. Nope, that's the big key. Now, fortunately, both runners should have the lantern, so we will have access to every single chest, or rather every single item, except for the Armos Knights at the top.
But thanks to that early compass, we're hoping that the map is going to be on Amos Knights, because if we find the map now, it means there's going to be an item left behind on Amos Knights. Eastern is one of the shorter dungeons, but you still don't want to go back there and clear out the whole of the dungeon, even if you're routing it in with Powers of Darkness at the same time. It's just really inconvenient. And that could only be done if you have the mirror too, so it's tricky leaving Amos Knights behind.
First item is a piece of heart. And second is missiles.
Yeah, so one more chest coming up.
With
so
the
little, oops, sorry.
Nah, you get this one.
The little tentacled beast gets in the way there, but it's one of the lowest damage enemies in the game. I think the only low damage enemies are the rats in Hyrule Castle, which do basically a quarter heart of damage. And since the game UI only shows half heart's worth of damage, you can run into one with green mail, and it looks like you don't take any damage whatsoever until you run into it again.
Alright, chest in here. Piece of heart. So we have all of our items.
Yep, that is lucky. Does mean that the map is going to be on Amos Knights, but we have nothing to show for it. We've cleared out Eastern, we have no progress. So Pikapals is he's hanging right, so he's going to go back to Mini Moldorm probably, and maybe ask for the cave and then loop over to Agana. Whilst it looks like Breakdown is headed over to do his uncle check.
Actually, I think Uncle Check was done for both. This is
yeah,
a Front Hyrule Escape play.
Yeah, he did already check out Uncle. He's going into this with a little less bombs than he would in, say, a Link to the Past standard randomizer, where one of his starting weapons you can get from the Uncle is 10 bombs. But, he's going straight to the Dark Cross room to begin with. And remembers he doesn't really have a small key to get into the Dark Cross room, so he's got to head back.
Minimum bombs required to get through, for the record, is 5. 2 for the blue guard at the start, 1 for the green guard partway through, and 2 more for the blue guard after. The ball and chain commander can be taken out by using the pots right by Zelda's cell.
Yeah, in a standard randomizer for Link to the Past, those 5 bombs would be enough if you're accurate, and you would need the other 5 bombs for bombing a rat in the back of escape. So, and then hopefully you have 1 bomb left to break down a wall. Depending on your accuracy, for instance, break down their missed 1 bomber, it can be tricky.
However, with that first item being a small key, there is the potential that the Dark Cross may have something.
So Pikapals has been over to Iceford Cave, and now he's also going into the front of escape. So he's a little bit behind Breakdown here, but luckily that bomb misadventure in his first time in Mini Moldom hasn't cost him too much time.
And Pikapals is actually entering with the same number of bombs that Breakdown did. So I am curious if this. Well, right. It always is best to take out this guard to get the key. But I am curious if it would maybe. Would you ever consider stealing the key to just go to Dark Cross early, or do you just go through all of front before you even think about going to Dark Cross?
If you're gonna leave an item behind, it's ideally the Dark Cross room, because it's quicker to get to than Zelda's chest. You can get to it from the front of escape very quickly. You can also get to it from the back of escape without too much trouble. But getting down to Zelda's chest basically requires you to go in the front door and walk all the way down there. It's pretty lengthy. See, that is worth it though, because we get a power glove there. That puts a bit of Death Mountain in logic.
Not only Death Mountain, but we can actually clean out the back of escape as well. And that's exactly where Breakdown's going.
Pikapal misses a bomb there on the blue guards, so but they've got enough to break the wall down here in the back of escape and follow in Breakdown's route.
Alright, 3 items up for grabs. Anything good? Energy tank, heart container, and the map. Dark Cross has something.
Breakdown's choosing to save and crit. Interesting. That said, if Breakdown decides to go into Super Metroid anytime soon, that energy tank is going to be a great boon. The early energy tanks are extremely valuable in Super Metroid.
And speaking of, you had talked about this previously, there are 4 doors that will take us between games. One of them is on Death Mountain. So, once we go through... Oh, Breakdown is checking the bush crab and will be handsomely rewarded.
He already checked the earlier bush crab to top up his bombs before Mini Moldom. It's Pikapals that skips the crab. Let's see where Pika decides to go now. Is he... Yeah, he's safe and critting too. And to get all the way to the Dark Cross from that location, you've got only... Well, actually Pika has 0 bombs, so he wouldn't even be able to kill the rat to get to the Dark Cross room, so this is okay. But he's actually going back in there from the front this time, which is the method that doesn't require him to spend any bombs to get to that chest. So let's see what pays off here.
Old Man on the Mountain with supers, and now we'll Breakdown temporarily dip into the Super Metroid door and head into the high jump area. I am suspecting
That's-
so.
Yep, there's exactly one item he can check here in the high jump area, and I don't think he can really get very far into the red tower area up above in Brinstar, because for pretty much anything there, you're going to need a morph ball. So there was a smart use of that super missile there. The super missile will knock enemies like those Novas onto the floor, and usually that Nova is moving fast and gets out of your range before you shoot it. If you can't kill it in time, you have to wait for it to do a loop of the whole room, come back for you to kill it so that you can then open the door. But because Breakdown used that super missile to knock that Nova to the floor, its routing changed, and he was able to kill it much easier and get out of the room much quicker. Very smart usage there.
Super missiles on top of Spectacle Rock. How about inside? Ooh, flippers. We're gonna take those.
Yeah, surprisingly, none of our runners decided to do some fake flipper checks, but with those flippers, they won't need to do fake flipper checks. They can just get a bit more. Pika sees now that he lifts up the rock, there's a crab underneath, the crab drops 8 bombs, and is probably regretting the time they spent saving quitting out of mini Mordor. But they are hot on the heels of Breakdown right now, so...
So with those flippers, we have access to the camper under the bridge, the waterfall of the wishing, and hopefully we don't have to deal with King Zora. None of our runners have the requisite 500 rupees in order to make that purchase.
King Zora logic is nasty. Essentially, if you have the power gloves or the flippers, he's in logic. Logic does not care how many rupees you have or can get from Seed, because you can always farm up rupees from that's a cave to the east of desert, where there's 50 rupees to be found, or the cave outside of Icewood Cave, where there's 20 rupees to be found. Both of those obviously require the power gloves, but typically, if you have the power gloves to put Zora in logic, the game expects you, yep, you can farm rupees. I don't care how many rupees you can get elsewhere, just go farm those rupees and check Zora.
But if you have the flippers, then have fun cutting down bushes?
Pretty much, actually. So Breakdown also gets their 5 missiles from the Dark Cross Room, and interesting logical conundrum there. It's with the early lamp, you'd think there'd be something there, because it's typically where progression often lurks if you find a lamp pretty late or pretty early, but nothing. So it looks like Breakdown is going to go back into Super Metroid, whilst Pika is going to go do the Agana check. Oh no, wait, we've got Flippers checks to do for Breakdown. Never mind. Yeah, it's pretty typical. You see somebody saving crit to Link's house, you think, oh, they're going east, they're going a bit south, it's time to go to Super Metroid. Nope.
Oh, Pikapals is going to grind for money. Perhaps suspecting a King Zora play, and Breakdown is visiting the Bird Lover. Play a Link Between Worlds if you haven't yet. Aw, the Bird Lover is showing additional love to non-birds. How nice.
You know, I have played Link Between Worlds, I have a 3DS, but I completely forgot what was under the bridge. I'm guessing the guy under there likes birds.
Yes. The NPC name is literally Bird Lover. But you still get a bottle. Oh, sorry if I wasn't supposed to spoil a nearly 4-year-old game. Anyway, Waterfall of the Wishing. 2 items available here. Anything good? Money and Morph Ball.
So Pikapals is going to be headed up that way, because look at the amount of rupees he is farming. So he's going to get that Morph Ball, and he's also going to be able to pay off King Zora. 50 rupees on the ledge, so even if King Zora does decide to scam him, he can get a partial refund, but yeah. Now he could go over and check Agano on his way out of the cave here too, before he goes up to Zora, so...
I just realized something. I haven't seen Power Bomb packs yet. And I think
That is
Breakdown is
correct.
concerned about that. Just heading immediately to Super Metroid, and let's just go.
Yeah, so unusually for our second visit into Super Metroid, we've still got the rain going on outside. That rain only disables itself when our runners find some power bombs. It's a quirk of a vanilla game. When you're going around a vanilla game, you typically go down to Brinstar, take a quick trip into Norfair, then ascend up the red tower with the ice beam, find your first power bombs there, and you're back in Criteria after get out of red tower, and the rain has stopped. Oh,
Ooh, that's the first sword, but technically this was sequence broken. In order to get out of here, we're gonna have to wall jump out of here and do a very complicated midair bomb jump. Not the easiest thing in the world. This is technically outside of normal mode logic, but Breakdown doesn't care, gets out.
Well, whilst it is out of normal mode logic, the Alcatraz escape is one of the first speedrunning tricks you tend to learn in Super Metroid because it's literally right there by the start of the game. So it's typically, hey, you want to start learning wall jumping? Here's your first puzzle. Solve this, and you're on your way to the rest of Super Metroid speedrunning. Oh, there's your first power bombs.
Power bombs guarded by speed booster. Good to know.
And that's really not enough bombs to be making a way sensibly through the front of Gauntlet, so Breakdown's checking the back to see if there's anything he might need all of those power bombs to get later. So just a single arrow and energy tank back there. The tank is nice if you're just going through the whole of Gauntlet already, but not something you'd really return for if you had checked it previously.
I can confirm that was the single arrow. Sometimes I mix that up with the hook shot, but I just needed to validate. I apologize for using that word in this context, but that was what I was genuinely trying to do.
Yeah, due to the nature of the color palettes in Super Metroid, some of the links with burst items can end up looking pretty funny. The hook shot in particular tends to get a green handle on the bottom, so it's still fairly recognizable. Potions are right out. You can find pink potions around, and they could be green, red, or blue. So early Supers just has a bunch of capacity upgrades. There's one more item on the ceiling here.
King Zora has the bow.
So all that money grinding has really paid off for Pikapals, and Breakdown has already been up to King Zora. He's seen the 50 rupees on the ledge, and he's not going to go back for those 50 rupees. So this could be absolutely critical between these two runners. I can only see Breakdown returning to King Zora if he decides to go catfish and has a mirror at the same time.
Well, at least we have an additional armament here. Wave beam just beyond the hidden pit.
Ooh, the notorious wave beam. In the race I commentated last night, the wave beam was in the lumberjack, and it was technically an Aga 1 seed because the ice rod was in the wave gate room here in Green Brinstar. Or rather, Pink Brinstar, I should say.
That is nasty.
So a trick you may will often see in that particular room is the wave gate glitch, where you jump in the right place and fire a super missile to clip through the gate and open it from the wrong side without having the wave beam. One of our runners wasn't comfortable with doing it, so he skipped it, and that cost him the race. The other runner, which I believe was Dr. Bob Tastic, he spent 5 minutes trying to do it. He eventually got it, and it clinched him that win. Could we be seeing the same thing here for Bo? Only time will tell.
Alright, Breakdown is the first to transition to the dry vegetation portion, though it's just a little bit. We're gonna head back to greenery soon enough. But first, we need to see what's up top.
Yeah, a lot of people call this Big Pink, And it really reminds me of the scenery you saw in Metroid 2, in the depths of planet SR388. I've played Metroid Returns yet, so I'm not sure of the scenery there.
Well, I have played Metroid Fusion, and it's semi-accurate. I've also played, technically it was a fan game that really captured it, but I don't want to go into that. Power bombs on charge, or just above charge beam technically. But it looks like, Spore Spawn skip incoming.
Yeah, this is the other super missile clip you've seen here, and Breakdown's going for the run towards the gap and try to use the momentum to clip the super missile through. You either need pixel perfect positioning, or you go for it with a run like that, and we see that Breakdown did get it within a few tries. So just a big 20 behind the broccoli. I heard you like Super Metroid food. Spore Spawn is basically just a giant mobile broccoli.
I kinda need to eat some more broccoli now.
So here is the wave gate room as we were just talking about.
Well, at least we don't have to sequence break through it. We can just use the wave beam, shoot the gate the appropriate way, and claim our item this way.
Just a big 50. And we're hardly going to fight an ice rod here again with such early wave beam. Things can never be that kind. Unless you're Asda and Hitaka in their race the other day. I haven't seen that race myself, but I believe a world record for the combo randomizer was actually set in that race. So I really need to check it out.
Ooh, Breakdown is going to... I want to say this is the... It's either Waterway or Watering Hole. Going to attempt a speed boost from the dry portion on the left over here. May have to do what's... It's either a short charge or quick charge. I don't remember which one. But basically, walk a little, maybe 2 taps, boost, store it, and get the dash if you can deal with the water physics.
Pretty much, and this one is indeed the Waterway. There's also an aqueduct over in another portion of Super Metroid, just to confuse you, but the watering hole is literally a hole with water in it in Meridia. Now, Breakdown has not got enough energy left to do the Shine Spark now, so he is leaving.
And Pikapals is about to get some additional armaments. And oh wait, Breakdown is actually trying to defeat the enemies here, gain some energy, apparently, or just stopping at the 7th power bomb instead.
Both our runners are low on energy right now. Pikapals took a hit from a side hopper there, and those guys do a lot of damage. Try going through the early Super Metroid with just a parachute and one or sometimes no energy tanks is really dangerous. So Pikapals is going to farm some energy from the tube bugs here. Now Breakdown is farming those little maggots called zeros. They have a 99% drop rate for power bombs, so and a 1% drop rate for energy. So I think when Breakdown is maxed on power bombs, he would be able to get energy drops for them, but he's just choosing to leave instead.
Or maybe going for the more reliable energy farm spot where Pikapals had just left.
seems that is his choice.
Considering that we are dealing with an all-important game here, the winner will be placed at 4-1. I know it's important to go fast, this is speed gaming after all, but sometimes taking a few safeties is not a bad idea.
He's also topping up his reserve tank there, which is, if you do run out of energy, you can dip into that a little bit to have another go at the Shine Spark, or if you just run into trouble, you can dip into that reserve tank. But, you know, it's a reserve tank. We'd rather just have an ordinary energy tank to begin with. So Pikapals is done in Wavegate, and they're going to be making their own way down to the aqueduct. Aqueduct, waterway.
I don't know which one it's supposed to be anymore. Okay. But yeah, Breakdown finally gets it. Was it worth? Yes,
Oh,
it
yes.
was. Early Titans mitts.
Uh-oh. Pika's leaving it behind.
That is not necessarily a good thing, and unfortunately, missiles in the Green Hill Zone is not going to make up for that.
Best thing for Pikapals would be, at this point, would be just checking out the little bit of blue Brinstar, and then coming back to green Brinstar, going down to the red tower, but also checking out the waterway on his way down there. But the fact that he left it behind now is a bad omen. So, two runners have both left behind critical items. Breakdown has not been to King Zora and gotten a bow. Pikapals has not gotten a Titan's Mitts from the waterway. Oh boy.
Also, the vanilla morph ball spot had power bombs, so we could have gotten our first pack there. Alpha missiles, Burna, we'll take that. Alright, about to check high jump tank. Just some bombs. 20 rupees at the other end. And Pikapals is going to try to make his way to the Billy Mays room.
Gets to jump in one try.
Unfortunately, apparently even Billy Mays needs holidays. Not much available in the vault.
5 missiles, but wait, there's nothing.
That just... that just seems so wrong to hear you say, Ocelot.
Honestly, I don't even know who Billy Mays is. I just know the expression now from having done Super Metroid races.
Okay, we have a little bit of time, so minor bit of trivia. Billy Mays is a United States / American advertiser who is known for always selling stuff, but always offering more by going with, but wait, here's more. Or there's more. One of the two. Thank you, Hitaka. Though, yes, was, unfortunately, Billy Mays is no longer able to sell us stuff through this plane of existence. Retro Mother Brain not having anything worthwhile either.
He sounds quite obnoxious. Remind me never to die.
No one. If anyone is even thinking of that, please get help. I mean that, even if we are talking about this in kind of a semi-joking manner.
And I'm definitely planning on living forever now. But first I gotta go practice some mad science, so I'll be right back. So, Omega Missile's coming up for Pikapals here, and there's one other speed booster check that he could have done, which would be the soft supers, which Breakdown's going for. So, I'm guessing Pikapals isn't too comfortable with doing these speed booster tricks here, and that's why he's left behind the Waterway and the shaft supers. So this, again, this could be a critical item here. It could also just be 5 missiles.
And Breakdown using the grapple. Oh, please be careful.
Pikapals is back at the ship. Are they going to go into the front of Gauntlet, or possibly to the acid room at the top of Criteria, or maybe even over to Rex ship, or to Red Tower? It's pretty much 4 directions you could go from here.
Wait. Oh, I think aiming for gauntlet.
So I didn't see if Pika checked out the back of Gauntlet yet, so if he goes over there, he'll at least get an NG tank, which is going to be extremely useful if either of our runners decide to go to Phantoon.
I know I wouldn't want to go to Phantoon with just one spare energy tank and maybe 2 reserves. That just seems... That's low. And Phantoon is known as a run killer for just normal Super Metroid players. Even the great Super Metroid players struggle with Phantoon.
So more power bombs in front of Gauntlet. And Pika's just resetting.
But Breakdown is heading to the Northeast Acid Room. I'm sure there's a better name than that.
Super Metroid has lots and lots of room names, just like Link to the Past, really, and I can't quite remember them all off by heart just yet. Generally, if you say top of Criteria to the east, it's going to be this room, and most people will know what you're talking about. So runners have yet another high five here.
As we now have a good bee in a bottle, but more importantly, we have a bottle.
So Pika's going east. Will he go down to Red Tower, or will he decide to make use of that grapple beam to get over to the Rex ship, which is in logic now, that grapple beam. But nope, he's going down to Red Tower.
Well, Red Tower makes some sense. Already cleaned out the items through the Retro Brinstar path. So, in this case, we may... Well, we can take out Kraid now, go for the remaining high jump items.
I'm surprised he didn't. I'm surprised he didn't actually get that first item in the grapple room just before Rex ship. So, which is like takes about 8 seconds to get if you just go over there and grab it and then go back to Red Tower. So, just a bit surprising.
There is a question regarding energy requirements. For Phantoon, I do not believe there is a specific energy requirement, so it may very well be that you have to take Phantoon out with no energy tanks, but if you do, I wish you the best of luck.
You're probably a better Super Metroid player than I would ever be if you could beat Phantoon with no energy tanks.
Alright, Alpha Power Bombs and what's beyond. Ooh, Pikapal's draining the reserves right now. I admit I don't...
He's a bit worried about these jumping yellow things, and he was down to 9 energy.
Well, what I mean is more... Wouldn't the reserve tanks were set to automatically drain at that point? Why manually drain?
Perhaps he was hoping not to get hit at all, and if you get hit, you've got the animation of not only dipping into reserve tanks, but you also can get bounced somewhere. So, I don't know.
Actually, there's two caveats with the reserve tanks. Number one, if you get hit by it and your energy drains, your iframes count down. So when it's done restoring you, you can get hit again. And number two, your animation does not get interrupted, so you may get sucked into doing something you don't necessarily want to do.
Thank you, Lenophis, our tracker for this match. You're doing an excellent job as always. Anyway, Pikapals skipping the X-ray room, going to head to the Spazer room instead. And inside Spazer, 20 rupees, we will pass.
So Pika's on his way to Kraid now.
Could be Kraid, could be diving into Norfair. We don't know exactly yet. Now we do. Looks like Pikapals wants to get ready for the prom. And Breakdown is going for the X-ray scope room. And second shield finding in Kraid's area, but not... Pikapals is not interested in shields, I've noticed. There are some runners that don't like that, because the shields can potentially cause lag. But Breakdown is perfectly willing to grab them.
I think it depends on your experience of Link to the Past. Like, Pika has already found a Cane of Burner, so if we're talking about something like Laser Bridge in Turtle Rock, Cane of Burner puts that in logic ready, so you're not going to have to track down shields, hope to find that mirror shield to actually put it in logic. But one of the tricks you usually see on Laser Bridge is just skipping past the lasers regardless of your items anyway. So Pika's a skilled, a very experienced Link to the Past runner, so he's probably quite comfortable with just passing up shields completely.
Pikapals is also comfortable with a nice slow dance with Kraid. Also, I don't believe the X-ray scope room had anything of importance. So in this case, Pikapals was right to pass up on that room for now.
So there goes Kraid for Pika. What's he hiding in his stash? It's just 5 missiles.
What our runners are probably looking for, more so than normal missiles at this point, is a charge beam.
Charge Beam is one of those interesting items which is technically required for Go mode in Super Metroid because two bosses, Ridley and Mother Brain, are not considered in logic until you have Charge Beam. Now, because of the nature of Combo Randomizer having quite a lot of super missiles in it, you can just have enough super missiles and ordinary missiles to brute force your way through Ridley and Mother Brain. But those bosses do not drop ammo, so if you somehow end up running out of ammo, you've got a softlock on your hands. You've either got to die or reset the game. The charge beam removes that concern, and that actually puts those two bosses in logic, as it were.
However, I've seen a number of runners go through this game without needing charge beam. I mean, I've done so on a personal seed before, but I didn't like doing it. Alright, Pikapal's going to check the Norfair exit item. Piece of heart, no need to worry about it. Breakdown is about to go, whatever the species Kraid is, that type of dancing.
Godzilla?
And, oh! Don't think it's that. Also, flute at high jump boots. Sorry. There is a species name that I have heard of, but I don't know if it's actually canon or just someone's, fanfiction ideas, so I can't really say it right now. Meantime, Breakdown is also going to enjoy dancing with whatever Kraid actually is. Well, did enjoy dancing.
He's a giant green lizard, so let's just call him Godzilla's second cousin twice removed. Kind of makes you think about the species names in the Metroid series as a whole, actually, because you've got the space pirates, right? And the space pirates you generally think of as being the enemies called the Zeebzians, which you see all over the place in Super Metroid. The guys who hang out on walls, the ones that break down just ran through with a speed booster. But in Super Metroid, space pirates covers a lot and lots of species. Would you call Ridley a space pirate, despite being more of a flying dinosaur, dragon, pterodactyl thing? He's technically a space pirate, but that's not his species.
I mean, excellent points, don't get me wrong. I'm just... I do feel like there should be some sort of canon name for these species. And again, I don't want to, you know, misattribute someone's fanfiction ideas here, so... Okay, super missiles across the, I don't think that's the kiddie pool, but... You know, it's the pool before the wrecked ship.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to have your kids swimming in here. It's pretty deep.
Alright, now for the big lake before the wrecked ship as Breakdown picks up the flute. And we have...
Yes, we've
Go ahead.
a Master Sword in the sea. This is called the wrecked ship sea because it's literally the sea. You can see it in the background. I think the room before is called the moat because it's essentially the water before the castle. Pikapals chose to blow up that ripper there for super missile. We could also just use it as a grapple point and grapple over there instead. Save yourself supers, but we don't really need supers for the next boss coming up on Pikapal's side.
If we need any, it would just be one, and that requires excellent timing and counting.
So no bonus E-Tank before Phantoon. We are just going to have to do it with the single E-Tank expansion. It's been a while since I've seen NMG routing, but I believe you only go into Phantoon with either 1 or 2 extra energy tanks. So this is kind of very similar to NMG here.
In the meantime, Breakdown is... Oh yes, everyone, please rise. Most of you know what's coming.
Get your 07s in chat if you want to salute the Scourge of Hyrule, who is about to be let loose upon the skies here, ready to poop on all the denizens of Hyrule from above and occasionally take a lick around to a few choice locations.
Yeah, the bird is now free. Pikapals is dealing with Phantoon. Sick Kid only has some bombs. Oh, I think Pikapals had his reserve tanks force drained.
Yeah, his stream kind of came back when he was already dipping into his reserves. It doesn't look like Phantoon's taken much damage yet, so this fight's not going too well. Getting a lot of energy drops from these fireballs, which is good for Pika, but gotta be careful here.
One more hit, and this is not going to be good. Unfortunately, the nearest save point is back at the ship. Save points can't be used on the wrecked ship until Phantoon is taken out.
And the idea behind the wreck ship is that Phantoon is just consuming all the electricity for some reason or another, and this also causes him to generate those ghosts, which aren't apparently the souls of the people in the wreck ship. They just random things, but Pikapals takes a death.
Blue fire is dangerous. And thanks to that, we have near sinks at the ship.
Pikapals is going at it again. Tries to use a super to open the power bomb door, doesn't quite work.
Now, Pikapals chose to skip the supers on the moat. My question is, how many supers are you comfortable with, Ocelot?
Up until I get the charge beam, I'll just get as many super missiles as possible. I believe Ridley takes 30 super missiles to beat, but he's a slippery guy, and he won't dodge his super missiles or just hang out in the top of a room where you can't easily see him. So generally, you'd want as many super missiles as you possibly can. Mother Brain is a bit trickier. You need a certain amount of ordinary missiles to break her glass tank, then you need to damage her within her glass tank, generally switching to supers at that point, and then some more to damage her in her next phase to push her into the rainbow beam parts, at which point you don't need any more supers. Can't quite remember my exact ammo counts for that, but I'm perhaps a Lenofis tracker who is very, very knowledgeable in Super Metroid will start yelling at us in Twitch chat about that.
I'm not going to yell. Mother Brain Phase 1 takes 36 missiles, 6 to break the glass, 30 to defeat, and then Phase 2 takes 60 super missiles.
Thank you, Leno.
Alright, Pikapals versus Phantoon, round 2. Fight! So regarding where possible plays can be right now, let's talk about logical plays, while both runners are going to deal with Phantoon here. What we have access to right now, just by commentary's item tracking here, and Leno's, we could defeat Eastern Palace, but again, we've already found all the items. We could defeat Aghanim and get the item on the Pyramid Ledge. And that's basically it for the Link to the Past side.
Chat is also pointing out we can go to Checkerboard Cave if... No, we can't. No mirror. Damn you, chat.
That is the problem with that. Since we know that... depending on your Phantoon skills here, I would consider getting that energy tank from the back of Gauntlet. But right now, this may very well be an Agaseed. We have everything we need to accomplish that. Or maybe our runners feel that they could attempt some lava dives. We have access to ice beam location that way. If we're really feeling gutsy, we could potentially go to Krockermeyer's petting zoo.
Hell dives get murky, really murky, considering the logic of this tournament, which is just normal logic and doesn't expect you to make hell dives at all. Ooh, both breakdowns managed to recover quite a bit of energy, and Pikapals is really low right now, but Phantoon's pretty near death. I think one more super at this point will take out Phantoon, but you've got to be careful. If you hit Phantoon with a super missile and it doesn't kill him, he'll get enraged and just spam fireballs at you for ages, which are really hard to avoid. There we go.
Pikapals has it. All of the wrecked ship area is available. If we find no progression here, Aga may be the play.
Breakdown's getting pretty close to kill too, but gonna need a few more missile hits and then a super missile hit. But he's non-energy again. Gotta be lucky with his flames and not getting hit. Ooh, 4 energy left there for a second.
But Breakdown has it as well. Jeez, both of these Phantoon fights were clenchers, for lack of a better term here.
Pikapal sees that his first item available was 50 rupees, and he's passing it up. He's already done the big rupee check of Link to the Past and gotten that bow. Main thing separating these two runners right now, bow from King Zora for Pikapals, Titansmith from Waterway for Breakdown. Both of these runners had the means to reach those items, both chose to not go in those directions. In Breakdown's case, he also had a severe lack of money and chose not to grind any at all.
Okay, Pikapals, wait a second. There's one more item that looks like Breakdown's going to get to this location first. And, well, there's the Zora money. But it looks like Pikapals wants to go for the wrecked ship kiddie pool, just struggling a little bit with how to, I guess, get up there.
It's pretty tricky without the gravity suit. You can just jump out of the water and barely scratch out a wall jump to get up there, but it looks like he's trying to do some sort of technique involving a speed booster to jump across. I think he's trying to get enough speed to get through the door and then jump before he hits the water, but he's not quite getting a jump off soon enough, so he's ending up in the water.
Oh, I saw him crouch. He was trying to time it so he got the speed boost and let the momentum carry, I guess.
Ah, right, yeah, get a shine spark. I'm not sure if this is enough distance to get a shine spark or if you have to actually short shot. Let's see what Breakdown does. Oh, but Pikapals just goes for the wall jump anyway and gets over. Right, yeah, and we saw Breakdown get it in one try there. He used the momentum to just get himself out of the water, get onto the wall, and then just wall jump across. Now, here we have the spiky room of death. Can you guess why it's called that?
It has lovely carpeting. No, it has all the spikes.
And it nearly came with death for Breakdown.
Maybe we should have invested in carpeting.
So Pikapals is choosing to hard reset because if you can get through the spiky room of death quickly, say like you have the space jump or something, and as well as speed, it's quicker to just go back through the room and go back to past the save room this way rather than taking hard reset. But spiky room of death is spiky and deadly, so taking a hard reset may just be safer anyway.
However, Breakdown was forced back to the save point by missing a grapple spot and basically greeting the fishes.
Now, he did take the safety save before going into spiky room of death, which he should always take, because there's death. But he's going to go back and check it again.
Looks like Pikapals did want that money in the end. I mean, I know that our runners are strong here, so perhaps we don't need potions, but doesn't hurt.
If you ever find yourself by a potion shop to hand in a mushroom, or you're checking up cat vessels, or having enough money for a blue potion and a half is certainly not bad. But Breakdown is going to have to hoard that cash for King Zora.
Alright, Breakdown confirmed the item and is going to pass on it. Pikapal's now playing in the attic.
Just going to take out the key hunters here to open the doors, and then we've got an item on the right and a bunch more items on the left, and also access to the Chozo room. Again, involving more spikes.
Ah, you mean the bowling alley.
Indeed. I had it at the back of my mind there.
Now Breakdown wants to play in the attic, while Pikapals is double-checking the oft-forgotten room. And even more money. Apparently, King Zor and Kiki the monkey had an agreement with Mother Brain today.
But Pikapals takes a flying leap straight into a key hunter there and takes another death. So he's going to lose his 300 rupees, but I doubt he's going to go back for it again.
I mean, this is one reason why one energy tank wrecked ship is a very dangerous thing to do, especially if it's practically required. Our runners could have gone to back a gauntlet, but they chose not to. I wonder if that decision is currently haunting them.
I don't think Breakdown has really taken any deaths to anything yet like Pikapals, so it's affecting Pikapals more at this point. And he's also choosing to leave that 600 rupees behind, which Breakdown is keeping. So with that amount of cash, it makes King Zorachek a lot friendlier to him. But as for Waterway, who knows when Pika will return to that, because he may be wanting to get Gravity Suit before even going back to it.
Alright, energy tank is located at Wrecked Ship Reserve. Energy tank at the top of the world, and 20 rupees in the cavern portion. And oh, Pikapals almost landed on that ship.
As he got enough energy to Science Spark to the top here now, this could be tricky. Nope, wrong place. Yeah, there's definitely not enough energy now. He's going to have to take the long way.
There are 2 locations left, but let's not stress about it because we are now about to have some fun. Breakdown is about to take care of the bowling area. All we have to do is make sure that the Chozo statue is ready. Chozo statue has the ball. Aiming down the lane carefully. Wants to have a good roll. After all, wants to defeat the Edikuns and Dracoras in the current league. Currently marching down. Sights are good. Starting to look down, looking down a little too far, and... oh, Chozo statue has faulted, walking too far down. This one does not count.
I was about to call him out for being illegal. Now, if you want actual bowling, you've got the Chozo stats in Metroid Prime. There's one room in Metroid Prime where you have to activate one of 3 switches, which makes a tube in the middle rotate. Oh, there's Gravity Suit.
French vanilla gravity suit, which opens up Meridia.
And so, as I was trying to say, there is a Chozo stat in Metroid Prime that when you curl up into a ball and go into its hands, it will literally bowl you somewhere. And you have to rotate a rotating pipe in the middle of a room using one of 3 switches to put it into different places to get bowled into different locations in the room.
So, as there may be some excitement regarding Meridia, I need to at least emphasize that, I actually don't think Shaq Tool is properly in logic yet. At least I'm not seeing it on my tracker.
I believe you're either high jumps or space jump, I think, to put Shack Tool properly in logic.
That's correct.
And what? Big shout. We may as well cover this now. Shout outs to our runners, Breakdown and Pikapals, for certainly getting through what is a very rough seed. Shout outs to my commentary partner, Revolving Ocelot, and extra shout outs to our tracker here, Lenofis, for not only handling the buttons but keeping us in line. Please give all of them a follow.
Is he third commentator at this point? Should we put him on the top of stream?
I don't get to decide that.
So Breakdown is heading into Meridia here with that gravity suit. You can pretty much check out everything here thanks to that speed booster. Annoying things like the speed, for instance, the snail clip trick, where you put a snail in a certain place, jump on top of it, and if you're in the right spot for a snail, you can actually clip through a ceiling or 2. It's not necessary, because we can just bust through this blocks with a speed booster now. Speed boost is one of those tricky items where you may not need it at all for progression, and if you don't, it can be found in Ganon's Tower or somewhere silly like that. That said, we do need it for progression, because look what's up there in top of Main Street. It's a fire rod.
Ooh, we definitely need that because Turtle Rock is required.
Well, we don't know our Dark World. Well, have we had a Dark World check?
You're right. We actually haven't. We only know of Eastern Palace and Skull Woods because of Sahasrahla. Turtle Rock could actually be a pendant, so this fire rod may not be necessary.
Well,
but still, always good to have.
It's irrelevant anyway, because Eastern Palace is 1 pendant. We know that the green pendant is in Swamp, thanks to Shalashashka telling us, and that leaves 1 pendant left. It can't be both Skullwoods and Turtle Rock, so one of them is going to require the fire rods to get to Crystal. So yeah, this is a fire rod.
Wait, I'm sorry, which dungeon did you say also needed the fire rod besides Turtle Rock?
Skullwoods.
Which is known to be a pendant, so...
No, that's Swamp Palace.
Oh, I had that mismarked. Hook shot in the turtle wall room.
Meridia having lots of progression for us today in Link to the Past side. Where is Pikapals now? Okay, in the Red Tower. I was slightly confused where they were. I looked back at their side and saw them in the save room.
Alright, with the hook shot, we do have access to a number of places in Link to the Past. We can go to East Death Mountain, take care of Paradox Cave and Spiral Cave. If we wanted to, we could technically use the Super Bunny glitch to get some chests. Ooh, half magic southeast of the watering hole.
Not bad. Speaking of super bunnies, I have seen that trick performed a lot lately in the combo randomizer, mostly to check out the Maya shed. A lot of runners have been going through the Norfair, decided to take a quick detour to Maya, but wait, no moon pearl, so they decided to do a quick super bunny into the Maya shed and get the 2 items in there. There've been a lot of moon pearls hiding at the very end of Ridley's lair in races lately, so that's why I've been seeing these super bunnies.
So the funny thing is, the Super Bunny Cave is actually named for the one in Dark Death Mountain, where you don't need to do any sort of mirror tricks. Oh, hello there, X-Ray Scope. All you have to do is enter from the bottom and fall down the holes, and you will be able to open chests.
I believe in the older versions of Link to the Past randomizer logic, the Super Bunny trick was actually required for that cave, which is why the cave got that name in the first place. But since those days, I've never actually seen anybody do the Super Bunny trick to check out the Super Bunny cave. It's kind of a archaic name at this point. But no moon pearl yet, so maybe we'll just be seeing some Super Bunnies into the Maya shed regardless.
So just to confirm, the Super Bunny glitch is a minor glitch. You are allowed to use it, but items will never require that glitch in a glitchless logic, or no major glitches logic technically. Now, if you were to use overworld glitches, it could be possible and expected to do that. Alright, Ocelot, I believe we are now in the aqueduct.
To be fair, I cannot remember which name is the aqueduct in Meridia, and I really should have definitely opening the wiki at this point, but this is generally right above the sandy pits. It's, you saw that Breakdown took a save on the left there, so that if he goes down to his sandy pit, doesn't like what he sees there, he will hard reset and go check out the other sandy pit. If he still doesn't like what he sees there, he's just going to hard reset again and probably make his way to Draygon.
I would do the same. The speed booster items in Pink Meridia, entrance did not have anything worth keeping, so a reset is likely unless this sandpit right here provides something good. Left sandpit first. 2 items here, rupees and missiles, no thank you. Oh. Pikapals is attempting to go for the Main Street Fire Rod, but not from the standard location. May not know that you can just run from the bottom part, instead trying to short charge it. And okay, Pikapal's taking the more traditional approach. All we have to do is open the gate, give us some running room, and then head to the left. Make sure to duck before you fall off the ledge, and we're good. Now, interestingly enough, Breakdown is not going down the right sandpit, instead going to take out Botchwoon.
Pikapals misses the Shine Spark again, so they will have to open up the gate once more and go running through. But in the time it takes them to do that, Botchwoon's already down for Breakdown. Pikapals ends up going headfirst into the ceiling and has to give this another try.
Alright, super missiles at the Botchwoon E-Tank. And now we're just going to run across. Now, honest question. With the current health and ammo situation, would you consider taking on Draygon at this point?
Oh, absolutely. If you've got the grapple beam, so you can really easily take out Draygon with that, and it doesn't do enough damage to summers as long as he's not taking damage from other stuff that bottom may do.
Well, if I remember correct, now I'm going to remember vanilla numbers here, so I know that the armor values have changed a little bit with the randomizer, or maybe it's just the properties, so please, Lenofis, I know you're going to correct me, I'm just prepared for it. I am... If I recall correctly in vanilla, if you have both Varia and Gravity Suit and use the grapple beam strategy in order to finish off Draygon, you would lose one energy tank, maybe an energy tank and a half. I want to say without that protection, potentially double that. Are those
you would
values
lose about
close?
double that. Yeah, you're pretty much on with that. Since the gravity has no environmental protection, you would lose about 3 energy tanks worth from that grapple. So it's a little bit dicey, but you could do it.
Well, let's see if Breakdown can do it. Pikapals did do it, get the fire rod.
Breakdown switched to his missiles right now, so it looks like he's just going to go for peppering the shrimp with missiles. No fried shrimp this time, so far. And we're definitely not going to be microwaving a shrimp either. No charge beam.
Nothing wrong with a little mixed cooking. Oh, unable to grab! I saw what Breakdown was going for there. But here's the unfortunate part. As Breakdown is hoping to catch on one of those grapple sites, Draygon can potentially damage you randomly like that. So in this case, I would advise breaking out of there before it becomes too late. I don't like this! Reserve tanks engaged. Ugh. Breakdown! Please, be careful!
Sometimes, just sometimes, reserve tanks are useful.
I think we've had that proven.
Hey, would you look at that? There's the Nefarious suit behind Draygon.
Draygon knew. That's the only thing I can think of. So now, it's time to get out of here. Best way to do that? Gravity jump.
I would like to point out that this method of escaping Dragon's room is not in logic. We are required to have bombs or space jumps, so this Draygon kill is technically out of logic right now.
I knew we were missing something.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing, actually. There's a few tricks that are required in normal logic, such as if you want to get out of that room, such as the infinite bomb jump, but no multiple bombs for that. You can also use a particular trick with the X-ray scope to clip yourself through that wall on the left, which is exceedingly tricky. And I think I've seen Hitaka pull it off, and that has been about it. There's multiple ways of getting out of that room, but most of them are out of logic, and certainly none of them are in logic with the items we have right now. But gravity jumps are cool, so we could just get out using that.
So, to help clarify why the speed booster wasn't enough, you would need to perform a short charge or quick charge in order to get the Shine Spark. That is technically not in logic in normal mode. I don't know if it's required in hard mode, but all things considered, this seed has... I mean, it's been said in chat before, this has been kind of a barren seed, and we've only just now gained Norfair access. I am honestly concerned. I mean, the chances of needing to face Aga 1 have been greatly diminished, but at the same time, we still don't have a lot of places we can check out exclusively on Link to the Past side that hasn't already been covered. And Breakdown has to be careful. That lip is not helping.
And no more Zerfs to save him now if he falls in the spikes. But he gets there.
Also, thank you to Pikapals for confirming right side sand pit. Third reserve in there, along with another 300 rupees.
So Breakdown's headed up to Plasma Beam over here. Now, Plasma Beam is again one of those rooms where he can get in, but he cannot get out, at least without any logic tricks available to us.
That is correct, and no bombs, well, no normal bombs, and no space jumps, so good luck timing the wall jumps and speed boosters if we can get enough energy from the actually, in order for us to even defeat the space pirates, we kind of need the plasma beam to be in its vanilla location, and I don't know if I want that right now.
I kind of wonder if that hook shot is going to lead to something like the morphball bombs on the east side of Death Mountain. Or possibly the space jump, or anything to get us out of these rooms that would be in logic.
Alright, plasma beam had nothing. The only item unaccounted for in Meridia is Shaktol, but we don't have logical access. Actually, I don't think we have illogical access to that, so Super Metroid-wise, Norfair is the place to be.
Right, but to get to Norfair, you need to beat Draygon and get out of there in logic, so technically Norfair is also out of logic right now. I really think you'd have to get that hookshot from the Mama Turtle room, get out of Meridia, go over to East Death Mountain, get something there, and then that puts you back in logic again. But here we see why sequence breaks can be extremely beneficial in Super Metroid, because you can just shortcut that. If you're going to go back and forth between the games like that to stay in logic, you end up spending quite a lot more time than would otherwise be necessary. Sequence breaks are risky. They can send you down the rabbit hole where all kinds of mysteries and problems may present themselves, but it can also be extremely beneficial to you in saving time.
Excellent points, Ocelot. Alright, Pikapals took out Botchwoon, but had to drain the reserves, so I am not fully sure. I know Pikapals can take out Draygon and likely get out as well, but I would still be careful. Note that Pikapals has 2 energy tanks compared to Breakdown's 3 at this point. And I would not be comfortable with this.
He is going to he can farm a bit more energy from the bugs in the sand pit here. And that's exactly what he's going to do, as well as top up his supers, probably.
And okay, remember folks, without space jump or bombs, this is technically an out-of-logic play that Breakdown's going for.
Ugh, Fractal. Nasty even when it's in logic. The other main trick I see getting into Shaktol early when you don't have a grapple beam at all is to go into the next room with the ice beam and get one of those slimy creatures into just the right spot, freeze it, and then use that to clip through the ceiling, much like the snail clip in the earlier parts of Meridia. But that one is extremely hard to pull off too, so looks like a Breakdown is giving up on Shaktol. The correct play. Nobody should ever be forced to do Shaktol.
Which means we're gonna have to do Shaktol this seed. But Breakdown has to be careful. 19 health is not a good place to be at, even with Varia suit.
Tries to kill the crab above him to get some energy, but the crab is likes to walk on the walls, walks down the door, walks into Breakdown's head, and kills him. Now, where's this going to send him back to? Okay, he took a save near Draygon, but was this before or after Draygon? I can considering his low energy, I'd like to say he was after Draygon. Yeah, it looks like he's keeping the Draygon kill.
Yeah. That and the spikes didn't do as much damage. Pikapals has some reserves loaded up, I guess hoping for, fried shrimp.
Takes a single tail hit there, and another.
And a third. And a fourth. I'm not liking this play anymore.
If he did enough entry farming from the bugs out in the sandy pit, he should be okay here. There we go. So, double fried shrimp. Nice to see. Breakdown gets out of the Meridia into the dark world, takes a save and crit, which is just going to put him back in the light world, so... not that there's anything you could check out in that bunny state anyway.
Which means East Death Mountain is the play. Or Breakdown is going to head out right now. Did Breakdown never check Ice Rod Cave? Or is he... Oh.
He checked Ice Rod Cave, but I don't think he... yeah, he looks like he's going up to King's Aura.
Which means Breakdown is about to get the bow.
And he will have a big advantage over Pikapals here, because Pikapals left behind those Titan's mitts in Waterway. I don't know whether Pikapals was comfortable with doing the Shine Spark to get through the Waterway without the gravity suit, or if he just wanted to leave it until later. But that is costing him right now. The Waterway is an extremely isolated location in Super Metroid, being down at the bottom of a big pink with nothing really else around it to give you quick access. So this is going to be extremely costly. Pikapals just managed to escape from Draygon and get back to safe room. So there's the bow for Breakdown.
And now Breakdown is going to actually head to East Death Mountain. We have 8 checks in Logic, 7 in Paradox, 1 in Spiral Cave, and, well, we could go into Super Bunny Cave if we wanted, but no, Breakdown is heading to Norfair.
I'm surprised he's actually doing this right now, because he could be just going through Paradox Cave and then going down to Spiral Cave, exiting there, and then going over to Norfair. It's a fairly circular route. But guess we're doing Norfair first.
Starting with the Ice Beam check. Common first play. And supers, we'll take those.
Pika is going to check out Paradox Cave first. Now, he doesn't have those mids to get him into the Dark World, but it's not really going to help him at this point anyway, because we don't know where the moon pole is. So it's not holding him back just yet.
It's not on Crumble Tower, we just had confirmation on Breakdown side for that.
But we're going to pay a visit to our old friend Crocomire first.
You mean, Big Red and Ugly?
He's not ugly, he's a good boy.
Well...
He's just hanging out here in the bottom of Norfair, just minding his own business. I don't think he even attacks you if you leave him alone, but someone just decides to go push him away and melt his face off for reasons of personal greed. Hello, there's a hammer in Paradox Cave.
with that hammer, we do have access to Tower of Hera.
It doesn't get us in Dark World yet. It does for Pika, because he's got the power glove. So, again, that lack of mitts is not hurting him just yet. It will do later, but not for now. But where is that moon pearl? I really hope it's not at the back of Ridley's lair again. I've seen that so many times lately.
But yeah, it's really hard to say. Alright, Crocomire is down. Croc Bombs is going to contain the final reserve tank.
Oh, that is disgusting, finding 4 reserve tanks before you've got 4 energy tanks. Hey!
There's the Moon Pearl, French Vanilla, front basement.
Alright, now the lack of Titans are going to be hurting Pikapals because he cannot get into Dark Death Mountain now. So Breakdown's going to get that Moon Pearl sooner or later. He has the means to get up to Tower of Hera available to him. And it is a crystal, so he's not going to be avoiding it either way.
Ooh, but the Cane of Samaria in the Crocomire Acid Room. Which reminds me, I had missed what Crocomire was guarding directly at the right-hand side.
I think it was just missiles, nothing important. So Pikapals does a nice bomb jump across a gap there to get to the big chest, which has a small key inside, so there is something lurking in the basement.
Well, hopefully not. Moldor may have the second item. But yeah, for those that like to say to always bet on Croc, well, wish has been granted.
It's either going to be the compass from Moldorm or the second item. If it's a second item, we don't have to check out the basement. It's a compass, so there's an item in the basement. We did get the map just a bit earlier.
Now, fortunately, both runners do have the lanterns, so we are able to get that second item. Also, both of them have the fire rod, so that makes it even more... Yeah, we're getting it.
Pikapals taking their well-deserved break in the basement here. Maybe he's going to take the time to think about items I've left behind. Should I go back and check those? I've got the gravity suit, I've got the speed booster, maybe I should go check Waterway. Or maybe he's just going to have some coffee.
In the meantime, Breakdown now in Norfair's Bubble Mountain. Will we see a visit with the king? There's the king. And, oh, Breakdown with the disrespect against King Kakalak. At least I think that's the name.
Cack-attack. It's almost correct.
Cack-attack, thank you. Also, second item in Tower of Hera? Blue mail.
It is not really useful for Pikapals because he wanted to take the death orb out of there. So he has to spend a little longer walking into the Stalfosses to kill himself.
Alright. Ooh! Ether right before speed booster.
Alright, Pikapals is headed into Spiral Cave now, and we'll probably be getting into Norfer from here, or possibly checking out the Dark World.
Pikapals does not have access to the Dark World in Death Mountain, though. Needs the Titansmiths for that.
Yeah, but you can go over to the south of Link's house or over to the outside Lost Woods. So there's a couple of access points to it that gets him most of the Dark World, but nothing to get him on Dark Death Mountain yet, which Breakdown will have once he gets over to Tower Hair to get that Moon Pearl.
Well, with this, we can confirm Aga 1 is dead.
He's technically alive, you're not going to kill him.
The play for Aga 1 is dead.
We'll be seeing him later anyway at Aga 2, where he and his two brothers decide to have a bit of a party, and we finish him for good there anyway. He doesn't even really kill Aga 1 at Aga 1 technically, he just kind of spins around a bit and then sends you into the Dark World for some reason.
Let's just say sorcery is in play.
A wizard did it?
Pikapals has unleashed his duck, and Breakdown is about to go for the Bubble Mountain rewards on the west.
Ooh, we're getting a sick kid check here. It's some bombs.
I think we saw Sick Kid already, but thank you for catching that.
Book of Meridia, Bubble Mountain.
And that Book of Medora gives us logical access to Desert Palace. Don't know if we can finish it yet, though.
Yeah, no Link to the Past boots yet. We must have been going pretty fast in the Super Metroid so far. We are stuck at walking speed in Link to the Past. So yeah, Pikapals is heading into the Dark World outside of the Lost Woods, and he's going to go into Skull Woods first.
Alright, lava missiles is just lava missiles. Skullwoods we know is a crystal. For some reason I often mix up Skullwoods and Swamp Palace on the tracking side, and I apologize for that, but Pikapals can finish off Skullwoods now. Having the big
Did he do a map check? I don't remember seeing a map check.
we did not see a map check, but Skullwoods is either it's a crystal or a pendant, and I don't think Pikapals is going to care as long as we get both items.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's probably going to get the two items here and then check or to do his map check to see if it's a pendant or a crystal and just where he needs to go.
So just to confirm for chat, Upper Norfair has been in Logic for some time, and all those items have been cleared out. Lower Norfair, though, is currently out of Logic, though... Alright, Leno, I'd like to try to figure this one out right now.
Yeah, hang on. Lower Norfair is in Logic because we've got Titan Spits, we've got Flute, and we can get the Moon Pearl. So Lower Norfair is in Logic because we can get over to the Maya area and get to the back of Golden Tweetso using the door there to the right side of Maya entrance.
Question. How is that in Logic if we don't have the space jump or bombs in order to defeat Draygon to get the Varia in order to even accomplish that?
Well, I said we can get into Upper Norfair. Well, Lower Norfair, didn't say we could do much in there. We can take out Tweetso and I guess check the items in there where we wouldn't be able to logically grab them. We can all jump up to the top and see what they are for. So, but yeah, you are correct in that regard. We can't actually get through Upper Norfair. We can get inside, but inside is all you're getting so far. In Logic.
Even with Yeah, even with illogical access, we are still missing the space jump in order to really get to where Ridley is, so... I guess that's the big question. DH Stom, gravity was located on the right side of the bowling return in the wrecked ship. And Pikapals is taking on Mothula with 5 hearts.
Now, he's got blue mail and half magic in the to help his forward shots, and he makes very quick work of Mothula. So as the chat pointed out, this was crystal music, so and because this isn't a key sanity or anything crazy like that in Link to the Past, this does mean this is a crystal dungeon. So there is our first crystal at 1 hour 45.
Second,
But,
second crystal. Pika already completed Tower of Hera.
Of course, Tower of Hera, of course, yeah. Meanwhile, Breakdown is going to get that moon pole, and they are going to get a significant lead, at least in terms of items, if not quite progression just yet.
Alright. Apparently I had missed the first item in Skullwoods, but I believe Pikapals is going for the second one right now. Or did I just miss both? Wait, did Pikapals actually go for the Samaria switch? Or statue switch?
No, he hasn't. No. And I don't believe he's taken the south room where you would normally get a small key anyway, so... Or the...
Actually,
yeah, I don't think he's checked any of those items out, actually. He only checked out the item to the east of the big key, which was a big key, then checked out the big key chest, which was a small key, then went straight over to Mothula.
which meant he had to... That meant he actually took the guaranteed small key chest. My question is, did he check the one above where the big key was? Anyway, let's see. Switch chest.
Hey,
There's our
multiple bombs. Suddenly, everything we've been talking about out of logic is back in logic.
That's kind of an evil progression chain, just to go back to kill Draygon.
Well, if you know your Super Metroid tricks, sequence breaks are extremely useful and much less likely to get you stuck than in Link to the Past. Essentially, once you've got some kind of means of getting... Essentially, once you've got Gravity Suit and Varia and some means of getting around like Speed Booster or Wolf Ball Bombs or anything like that, most of Super Metroid is basically open to you. From a gameplay perspective, at least, not a logical perspective, at least for this tournament, which operates on normal logic. Now, in hard mode logic, that's a whole different kettle of fish.
So let's let loose with some gambling. Hi there, Blue Boomerang.
Alright, Thiefstown is a crystal too.
Four items in here, we've already found the first.
We're not going to have that occasionally annoying problem of not possessing the hammer while going through Thiefstown. It's quite convenient when you don't find the map or compass or even the map or compass, because you know they're going to be in the big chest and you can just leave them behind. But we've got the hammer, so it's not going to be a concern for Pika either way. There's the big key, so one more item in the chest here. It is a heart container, the second proper item of Thiefstown.
Now, our tracker has mentioned something interesting. Both of our runners have, well, Dark World access. Okay, Breakdown is a about... yeah, Breakdown already has it, so... For some reason... Alright, Lenofis, I know you can hear me. Why would our runners not want to do a map check right now? Because I would think it would be good to know which dungeon to ideally avoid.
Well, at the moment, sir, like
Your guess is as good as mine. Yeah, your guess is as good as mine. Sorry.
I would say both of our runners can just very quickly get into the dungeons, just hear the music, so establish if it's a crystal or a pendant or not. Like Thieves Town is literally right there in the middle of the Falcast Peak. Can just walk in, check if it's a pendant or crystal, decide if he wants to clear it for items or not, and go from there. Now, if it's like he wants to, thinking of, should I go to Turtle Rock and check that out? Then he might do a map check and see if it's a pendant or a crystal.
Personally, I think having knowledge of your 5-6 would also be helpful, just so you know how to plan things out. But I'm crazy like that.
Well, sometimes a little bit of craziness is what's needed to get that all-important win. Remember, our runners are 3-1. Breakdown had a loss to Raiko Rider, but then won against HK112 Lenofis and Link Force 0. Pikapals had taken a loss to Nintailor, but then won against Corrido 8, Gilgatex, and Ivan. And Breakdown is going to check out Super Bunny Cave.
Or he checks out the shop cave for some reason. That guy doesn't get much attention down there.
Light is right, dark is left. That's the mnemonic, or you know the word I mean.
So now Breakdown's going to do some checks. Pikapals cannot do that at all right now. He's got Super Bunny Cave open to him. He's also got Hookshot Cave open to him. He can also check out what crystal is needed, well, what medallion is needed for Turtle Rock. So in Super Bunny, there is an Ice Beam. Pretty nice find when you haven't gone into Torian yet. Energy tank in the big chest of Thieves Town. That's certainly useful, because we've had a severe lack of energy tanks so far. And there's a map check. Red pendant at Paths of Darkness, red crystals at Thieves Town and Turtle Rock.
That's, yeah, kind of an ugly situation there. Most runners would prefer to do Turtle Rock last, but that means no pyramid check. Also, blind, we know of your puns. Bye-bye. Oh! Ice Rod in a Hookshot Cave.
That's probably one of the friendliest locations you can find for the Ice Rod in any kind of Link to the Past randomizer. It's literally right there next to Turtle Rock, and you'll usually have the hookshot going up to Turtle Rock, so you check out Hookshot Cave anyway, you find an Ice Rod. Ooh, Quake for Turtle Rock. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Breakdown just goes for the flute straight over to Maya and checks out that medallion too. Oh no, he looks like he's going to go to South Darkworld first, so we are going to get a Hype Cave check from him. There are the boots in the brewery in Village of Outcasts. So Pika is playing with speed now.
Had to wonder where they were located. Alright, now for that cave of questionable value, while at the same time Pikapals was visiting Dompe. Lots of checks right now. We have missiles, money, heart, heart of a heart, and money. Digging game also had nothing of significance.
Just 10 hours. So Pikapals cannot do the Smith Chain, Breakdown can, but neither of our runners have a mirror, so they cannot check out K45. Stumpy has a Piece of Heart. Pika's going to be heading over to his Hyper Cave of Disappointment, and Probably, I reckon he'd probably go over to... both Eastern and Paths of Darkness are pendants, so there's not much incentive for him to go inside either of those. I wonder where he will go from here. He was going to dip into a pendant. Eastern, that would mean Palace of Darkness would be the best one at this point, because there's a wealth of items to find, isn't there?
I think Breakdown may consider, once the digging game is done, rescuing the blacksmith.
Yeah, like I mentioned, he's got those Titansmiths to do that. So we're going to get a little bit of a world tour with the blacksmith, because no mirror. So Pika's going to check out the pyramid. Probably also the catfish on his way. Now, if he had been the one to leave behind the bow, and he had a mirror, he might go and check Zora at this point, but Breakdown had the very heads-up play of checking out King Zora as soon as he was back in Link to the Past from his long venture into Super Metroid. So he got that bow, and although he's behind on dungeons, he's going to very rapidly catch up in terms of crystals and Pika. And if Pika never goes back to that Waterway, he's going to be in a whole world of trouble.
That is correct. Ice Palace, Misery Mire, and Turtle Rock are all crystals. We will have logical access through Lower Norfair to get to Misery Mire, but the same cannot be said for Ice Palace and Turtle Rock. And DH Dom, there are your boots. Now, how about that catfish?
He's kind of grumpy. He's probably not going to throw for anything as nice as a bow. Just 50 rupees.
Still wouldn't object to that. So now I have to wonder where the best play is for Pikapals.
Well,
Without-
he is diving into this portal here, so I reckon he... Well, no, he can't get to Swamp Palace. No mirror. Where's he going to go?
Palace of Darkness makes sense.
I suppose, yeah, this does get him a bit quick into Palace of Darkness than going through the Light World and down to the portal south of Eastern Palace. So, pod it is. But Breakdown has quite a lot more options available to him, thanks to those Titansmiths. So the gap between our two runners is going to be closed pretty shortly, and then lengthening significantly in the other direction, for Breakdown will be taking the lead pretty shortly.
Kiki the
Hang
Monkey
on.
was... Go ahead.
Breakdown just ran out of Skull Woods. Why did he do that? What are his keys like? Oh yeah, no keys. He forgot to get the key from the pot there.
It's something I've done before. I completely understand. Alright, technically Palace of Darkness is not bow-locked yet. But Pikapals wants to go that way anyway.
If you're looking at the items that Breakdown has at this point, there's not much he needs to... he doesn't need a mirror for Go Mode in Link to the Past. For Super Metroid, he might be suddenly wanting something like their Space Jump, but with the Infinite Bomb Jump, it's convenience at this point. It's kind of... I'm not sure how many checks Breakdown would really want to make at this point, actually. He probably wants to find a Tempered Sword, because Master Sword on Ganon is quite inconvenient, but I think he has most of the items he wants to complete the seed now. The only possible thing I can think of off the top of my head would be the charge beam and maybe bombers if Misery Maya requires it. We don't know what's over at Maya yet.
Well, we definitely require Quake. I don't know if that was covered in your explanation.
Both of our runners have Quake, so that's a moot point for them.
Wait, I missed Quake. Oh, right, the hideout. I forgot to mark it. My apologies, folks. Yeah, Quake was in the Lost Woods hideout. Pikapals whip. That is a pure vanilla Big Key in Palace of Darkness. Looks like we're gonna get all the items in the back half. So yeah, Link to the Past side. Ooh! Breakdown taking... That may have been an intentional death, so I'm not as worried.
It was intentional. He got the item from that chest and then just was running into the spikes to get out. First item in Paths of Darkness, E-Tank.
So yeah, logically for Super Metroid, Charge Beam and Space Jump, but our runners would be fine with just Space Jump. Actually, could bombs just be enough as is? Technically, yes, but that's not something I'd want to do.
There are a couple of things where you can do with infinite bomb jumps that actually aren't considered part of logic. For instance, if you're trying to get into the front door of Ridley's lair, if you've got the infinite bomb jump for that, that doesn't put it in logic because you've got those wall beasts on the side continuously spitting fireballs at you, and you're very, very likely to get hit by a fireball and put off your bomb jump. So that actually isn't in logic with an infinite bomb jump. You'd need the space jump to get through there. But we've got other reasons to learn Norfer anyway.
That is true. Pikapal skipping what is likely a 1-to-1 key, immediately going into the dark maze. Item number 3, Piece of Heart, excellent timing.
There is one item in Norfair that is completely out of logic if you don't have space jump, and that is the item on the left of the Golden Tweetser's room. You cannot get over there at all if you don't have space jump. But that's only the only hard requirement for space jump in a possible seed. Space jump can be required logically for other things, but it's the only hard thing that you always need space jump for.
And Pikapal's taking another Death Warp. Bumper Cave, check for breakdown. Missiles, we will pass.
It looks like Pika's committing and he's going to go for that Helmasaur kill. Breakdown's going to go get their third crystal from within Thievestown. So really at this point for Pika, he has to drop everything he's doing and go to Waterway in Pink Brinstar right now and get those Titan Smiths, or he is going to be behind. Who knows when he'll actually do it, because Waterway is one of those locations that if you leave it behind in the first place, it's so difficult and time-consuming to get back to. Well, I won't say difficult, but time-consuming to get back to, that it could be put off as possibly his last item. He could be doing things like Shack Tool or before going over there. As well as any number of Link to the Past checks that are still available to him without those Titans. It is admittedly whittling down at this point.
So, on the tracker that I am using, Shack Toll is technically available through a sequence break or non-traditional path. I'm presuming that is through the use of Infinite Bomb Jump. We would ideally like to have Space Jump to do this, though. But for now, Pikapals is taking on Helmasaur King. For all we know, space jump may be on him. Ah, ice beam clip. Thank you, DH Stom.
Yeah, the clip of the using the goofing on the right side of the grapple points. This is the one of the ways to get in there that I was talking about earlier, if we don't have the grapple beam. Because we have the grapple beam, though, we need the high jump boots will suffice for getting up through that gap. But we don't know where those high jumps are, we don't know where that space jump is, so... doesn't really help us for Shack2. Though Shack2 is one of those checks that you really want to be doing last in Super Metroid, if possible. I hate Shack2. Alright, Pika, you're back on Death Mountain. You're going to go into Super Metroid from here. Where are you going to go from here? He should be going over to Waterway, but he's going to go clear out Norfer first.
Does Pikapal have the morph bombs?
Yes.
Then this may also be a play to take out Lower Norfair.
Well, like I said, he can't get to Lower Norfair with the morph ball bombs, at least in logic. Now, he could do all sorts of tricks to get in there. He could do a lava dive, he could do a gravity jump, but it's not in logic for him, not just yet.
Then let me see what. Because of the Titan's mitts.
Yeah, because of those Titan's mitts and the flute, we can get into Ridley's lair from the back door. So I've often seen a gravity suit in Ridley's lair because of that back door. You can also have things like the space jumper back there. Pikapals tries to do a couple of wall jumps to get to top there, and then just goes for the slow but a bit safer, well, a bit less tricky bomb jumps. Got to be careful of that flying cloister thing. I call it the cloister because it looks like the thing from Pokemon. I don't know the actual name. Super Metroid has a lot of very esoteric enemy names for all of its many varied enemies. The one that I can always remember that tends to catch out a lot of people is these Gigas, which are the side hopper looking things in the bottom of Ridley's lair.
Yeah. You know a lot more about the enemies in Super Metroid than I do.
I'm not 100% perfect.
Alright, MC Hammer's vault is being checked out on breakdown side.
Pika tries to grapple across, again ends up hitting the cack attack and now has to make their way back to the top again.
Now it's time to rescue that blacksmith.
No mirror first, so we're just going to have to save and quit back to the light world. Given that green pendant swamp, we may not be seeing the mirror at all at the seed. It could be lurking somewhere in Gan's tower behind the big key, so yeah. Breakdown's still checking a lot of items here. He's scared of leaving something behind.
I know I would personally feel more comfortable with space jump, maybe screw attack. Though, admittedly, having some extra power bombs wouldn't hurt either.
I think the best thing he could be finding right now would be a charge beam. A tempered sword will also help him out greatly. Not strictly required, but a charge beam is technically strictly required. And just very useful nonetheless. Also don't know where plasma is.
Yeah, Yeah, plasma would help a lot, especially with some of the end fights. There's Charge Beam and Sanctuary Bonk Rocks.
So all this Norfair checking isn't what Pika needs to do right now. What he needs to do right now is get over to Waterway and get those Titan Smiths. But it's not so bad for him because he gets that book, he gets the Ether Medallion, which may or may not be required, and he will get the Cane of Samaya down at Crocomire, which will be required. But there's a lot of stuff to check down here. And it's gonna take quite a bit of time.
Blacksmiths have learned how to manufacture flying bombs. Kind of a scary thought now that you think about it.
They've already got gunpowder in Link to the Past thanks to the ordinary bombs. Just sticking a rocket on the end. It's only a couple decades more worth of technological advancement. Hey, Breakdown, where are you going? Didn't you check out Lumberjack already?
I think that was only Pikapals.
I could swear he did this on his way up to Death Mountain the first time. Oh well.
Nah, I believe Breakdown did the southern path to Kakariko while Pikapals did the northern. And now Breakdown is going to head over to the Misery Mire area, technically Haunted Wasteland. We're about to confirm what medallion is needed to enter Misery Mire. And it is... Ether! Both runners have that.
So, with the items Breakdown has right now, he is in go mode, more or less. He's not in technical go mode, at least logical go mode, but he can clear both games now with the items he's got at his disposal. But the
Which
plasma
includes...
beam helps.
Yeah, that's what it includes now. Great timing, Breakdown. Now, Pikapals is dealing with the misunderstood, Croc.
Yeah, he's hiding Cane of Samaya this time, so always bet on Croc. Even if he doesn't have an item in your current race, he's probably going to have an item in your next race, so always bet on Croc. It's like the anti-pendant dungeon of the combo randomizer. Strictly optional, but always, well, almost always not optional at all.
I've seen a few runs where Croc doesn't have anything useful.
So have I, but I don't count those.
I only said a few for a reason. Alright, will we have a quick Misery Mire assuming go mode? Maybe not. We need to double check one more spot.
We've got to get a small key and a big key from these first two chests, and that was a compass, so we don't have the God Mire this time.
And definitely not even, the God Junior, if such a thing makes sense. We have to find our big key.
I guess if the big key was there, you just call it the Jesus plate instead. Doesn't really perform any miracles for
Not something I would do, but then again, who knows?
I think the only kind of miracles you tend to see down here in Misery Mire are of the spooky kind, because I've seen a couple of times in the tournament already.
And Lenofis, I don't think anything was forgotten. I think chat is just having some fun with you.
So Pikapals picks up their cane. Oh, Breakdown takes a death on the left side of Maya on his way up to the fire torch area, so he's got to go through again.
That's an unfortunate spot to take a death. You have to light the first set of torches, and then you have to go all the way back to light the second set. So, there are some folks that have come in a little late that are curious about the story of this seed. The short version, items were sparse, and we had to do a very low energy tank run of Phantoon. Both runners chose to do a low energy tank run of Draygon and managed to sequence break their way out, claiming the Varia suit along the way.
That said, the lower energy Phantoons were done as well, and the main thing holding these runners back for a bit was that the bow was at King Zora, which Pika got early and Breakdown skipped, but he routed that back in fairly quickly once he had gotten a lot of cash from wrecked ship, namely 600 rupees. Pika, meanwhile, both our runners, when going through Pink Brinstar, they had the speed booster, so the Waterway at the bottom of Big Pink was in logic for them. Breakdown went to check it, and Pikapals, for some reason, possibly not confident with making the check with it, because it's not a short charge required to check the Waterway, but it's still really tight timing on this Shine Spark. So either Pikapals forgot about it or decided he didn't want to check it just yet. He left it behind, and the Titan's mitts were there as second glove upgrade. So at the moment, Pikapals is going to be searching around for his Titan's mitts because he doesn't know where they are. He doesn't really have anything else he can check out in Link to the Past. Whereas Breakdown is, he's effectively in go mode. He doesn't have the necessary items that would really put him in go mode as of yet, but I think he would really need the space jump for that. But, well, he can get into lower Norfair, so he's got the multiple bombs, so yeah, it's safe to say actually he is in go mode for all intents and purposes. He's
Just
mostly
not-
looking for convenience at this point.
Yeah, I wouldn't call this a comfortable go mode. It is a go mode, but I would want to improve my arsenal. Space jump would be nice, tempered sword would be nice. Screw attack as well if we can get that.
Yeah, getting through Ridley's there without the space jump or screw attack is quite troublesome because you've got rooms where you've got, say, like a bunch of crumbled pillars which you have to break through. With a space jump and screw attack, you can just jump through them and before taking an acid buff. Without it, you have to use bombs and power bombs and whatever else to break your way through. It takes a lot of time. It usually results in you losing a couple of energy tanks to the acid.
Oh boy, Breakdown has one heart left and is about to take on Vitreous. Has to be careful.
The only problem you might face here if he missed a silver arrow like that and then took a lightning bolt to the face. The lightning bolt just hits a wall, so easy kill.
And so Breakdown is going to leave one item in Misery Mire.
Now, what chat points out is that Breakdown, when he's going to Ganon's tower, he could just be checking out the basement there and trying to find items there that may help in Super Metroid, because we don't need a screw attack, we don't need a space jump, we can just get through Ridley's there without those things really in a really annoying fashion, but we could find them down there and then just make the Ridley trip a lot more tolerable. But as we see, he's in Lower Norfer now, and he already had to look at the Golden Sweets items earlier, so he's not going to go for it. He's going to take the slow way through Ridley's lair.
I had missed what the Golden Chorizo items were, actually.
One was a piece of heart. I want to say the other one was missiles, but it certainly wasn't anything useful. The piece of heart was on the left side, so that's the one that space jump locked.
And oh no, Lenophis was correct. Breakdown is a little bit too far to the right, unless Breakdown, nope, has to redo.
Yeah, he actually took the dual transition there to reset the blocks up above the chosen statue so that he's got a bit more height for getting that bomb jump. Because bomb jumping your way up the vertical shaft is slow.
This takes one bomb at a time in order to do this.
Meanwhile,
There we
check
go.
out Pikapals on the right side. He is going to do a gravity jump into Ridley's lair. Although he's in the complete wrong place for it at the moment. So, as mentioned, space jump and screw attack makes this room a lot easier without it. We are going to eat some acid. Not part of a healthy and balanced diet.
But unfortunately, kinda necessary. Pikapals struggling a little with that gravity jump and just decides no more.
So we have the worst room in the game. It's actually called that. And you can kind of see why it's the worst room in the game, because you've got to kill all the annoying pirates in here, you've got to make your way up by really annoying methods. Screw attack, space jump both make this easier, but without, it's a slog.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna do that one word at a time per explosion thing again. Because that would probably make things even worse for Breakdown on the replay. Looks like Pikapals is heading to Desert, so we'll at least see some new information there. As Breakdown has to climb up what I believe is known as the amphitheater.
It's got a lot of rising acid. If you mess up your jumps and you don't have the space jump or to carry you through here, you might also be taking acid.
Alright, small key in the first chest of Desert, so we do have access to 2 more chests. Ooh, it's rare that I see the charge bombs. Also, 10 arrows is the first item.
He also did the charge bombs in the amphitheater as well. I forget the exact button presses needed to do it, but I think it's something to do with trying to get a power bomb out, but doing charge or whatever it is.
I think
Actually,
it's get a charge beam out and then a morph ball. I don't know if power beam or power bombs are necessary. Also, Pegasus boots were required in order to get the big key, as Breakdown is now about to take out the Carl Douglas Space Pirates.
the Shades likes to call these the Kamen Rider pirates. I'm English, so I have no idea what on earth anime is, so that one goes over my head.
The Kamen Rider is closer to Tohu, I believe, not anime. Or not Tohu, Sentai. That's the word.
Right, yes, Japanese concepts that I cannot possibly tolerate for having an accent like myself. Nah, I did know that Kamen Rider was one of those Super Sentai shows, along the lines of Power Rangers and things like that.
Oh,
But
apparently I was close. Tokusatsu. Thank you, Dilbert. Anyway, time for Ridley.
Ridley is definitely not anime. He's just some kind of pterodactyl space dragon thing. 30 supers will take care of him. He takes far more damage from supers than any other weapon, and because Breakdown has plenty of supers, he's just going for peppering him with supers. But if he runs out of supers, he's got all the possible beam damage upgrades he could want, plus the charge beam, so you need a charge beam to hurt Ridley, so he's in a great spot. And there's some nice pogo patterns coming on Ridley, so the Breakdown took very little damage. Ridley went in for the grab there, but he wasn't quite in his death threshold yet, where if he grabs you, he just spontaneously self-destructs. So Breakdown's got to do a bit more damage to him. There we go. Down goes Ridley.
And Breakdown is not checking out the Metroid container room. I think Breakdown just knows, go mode. Let's finish.
I'm surprised he's skipping them right now, actually, because he hasn't got Tempered Sword, and it is quick checks. He did also skip out the Room of Shame, presumably to save himself some shame, so... In case you're wondering, that's the room to the left of those D's Gigas, which is just past the vertical shaft here. It's called the Room of Shame because I believe it contains some... I think it's super missiles, so if you're running out of ammo when you're on your way to Ridley, you pick up those super missiles and NMG routes to top up your missiles for Ridley.
Close. Power bombs.
Right, power bombs, right. Pikapals is making his boost checks now. He did get that charge beam from the Bomb Crocs. A million people in chat correcting me now. Thanks to that.
Hey, don't worry. I've been corrected multiple times by chat, and I thank you for that, chat. It's a learning experience for all of us here, Ocelot. Besides, if chat doesn't correct us... oh, hold on! Pedestal check! Pedestal check! Red boomerang.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if it's not chat correcting us, then Lena will probably pop up in the channel again and start correcting us. So, you know.
Or Lenofis, our tracker, may end up having some words of wisdom for us. Pikapals is heading over to Super Metroid's side. For those that are wondering, the Titan's mitts are located in the Brinstar Waterway. The issue was Pikapals just chose not to go effectively.
He is now going for checks that he hasn't done yet, so he's checking out soft supers here, and from here he can go down to Blue Brinstar and make his way over to Big Pink, and hopefully check out the Waterway. Or he may just decide to go Meridia instead, or Norfair. Or any other direction that will not lead him to the Titan's mitts.
Also, Bombos in the Franker Z room on our way out of the Lower Norfair escape.
That room is normally called the Three Musketeers room because of the 3 key hunters at the top there that really get in your way and do a lot of damage if you don't have the screw attack while trying to get past them. But I like for the name Franker Z room too because it is Franker Z.
There are multiple names available. Sometimes it's just a matter of, I don't know, I guess minor cultural differences, and alright, chat is showing our support. Well, there we go, thank you, Raziel. Pikapal's struggling to get this charge out. without the has to move has to tap that D-pad and jump button extremely quickly, and it's not easy. It's like Pikapals is just frames away. Gets it. Hope you enjoy those missiles.
Did see breakdown.
Stay a while and
Last
listen.
Spooky voices.
Lenofus, did you say something? Or did Breakdown suddenly gain some fans?
It's a secret to everyone.
We'll figure this out later. In the meantime, Pikapals is heading back to Retro Brinstar. And Breakdown is... Let's see if he checks out this first chest, or if he's immediately retreating. He is immediately retreating. Oh! Pikapals is about to head... maybe to the Waterway?
It's the best possible time for him to check it, and he's even got a gravity suit for maximum convenience. If he doesn't get it now, he's never gonna get it.
He's going for it. Pikapals. I don't know what the equivalent of rage slashes are in Super Metroid, but please try not to lose it too much.
I believe it's wiggling the arm cannon up and down in a lot. But Pika has, yeah, well, there's a bit of rage. I think it gets him going a bit faster too. Something about the moving the arm cannon up and down diagonally like that gets Samus running faster. But yeah, Pika doesn't really have any time to waste. He is immediately out of there with those Titans. He's got a lot to do now, and
The thing is, Pikapals isn't as far behind as we're thinking here. Pikapals has to take care of Ice Palace, Misery Mire, and Turtle Rock. Breakdown is on Ice Palace right now. Has Desert to do, which is at the other end. And then Turtle Rock. Ice Rod, for reference, was in Hookshot Cave, boot side.
so Pika will get it on his way up to Turtle Rock, but the question is how many more items does he check before he gets up to Turtle Rock? And there was one boss he forgot on Pikapal's side, and that is Ridley. He could be clearing out all of Ridley's lair, and even if you're just going down to Ridley and go mode and back, that still takes quite a lot of time.
That is a fair point. I kinda forgot about that one. But for now, it is time to take out Cold Stare.
So we're not breaking that ice open with Bombers because Breakdown left that behind in Ridley's lair, but half magic and fire rod is no big deal either. Anyway. No tempered sword yet, so he's just sticking to fire rod for the rest of his shots.
But when out of magic, sometimes Master Sword is all we can use. Well, we could use the hammer, but that is kind of a close-range weapon.
Don't really want me taking any hugs from the Cold Step up here, because he's only got 3 hearts left. Blue Males, I think he would survive a hug, but still dangerous.
And that wouldn't be a survival, that would be death, even with Blue Mail. Cold Stare is designed to kind of motivate you to get that extra mail just to save yourself 1 heart per hit. But in this case, Breakdown doesn't need it.
Pikas is headed into Maya now. He may be checking out that item on the Firelock side that Breakdown took a death on his way to. That might be the Tempered Sword, we don't really know. I can't recall if we saw the map and compass in Maya, so...
So I can confirm that there was one item found. I think it was top Firelock side, but the cutscene chest was the big key. So Pikapals is going to have to go there anyway. What we did not see were the 2 chests by the crumbling bridge. And due to the nature of how the items are laid out here, Breakdown is going to end up spending some time in Desert Palace that I don't think he wants to. And now Breakdown realizes big key on Torch.
Yeah, so we did have a boots-locked siege this time. Well, boots-locked Desert Palace. Yeah, you can say boots-locked siege because Desert Palace is a crystal, but...
Boots lock requiring the Moon Pearl to access the Dark World Brewery.
The Moon Pearl itself being in Tower of Hera, in the first item in the basement.
Which we needed the hammer to get from Paradox Cave, which we needed the hookshot from Mama Turtle Room to get to Paradox. Yeah, this seed kinda had us go in many different directions in order to open things up.
Yeah, if you didn't want to make your sequence breaks, you would be going back and forth between the 2 games quite a lot. But that's why sequence breaks are quite useful in the combo randomizer. Especially on the Super Metroid side.
So while our runners are retreading ground here, it's probably a good time to do intros again. For those that have just joined in late, I am Wolfman2000, the one with the, well, much higher quality voice than mine is Revolving Ocelot. Our runners are Breakdown on your left and Pikapals on your right. Lenofis is tracking and occasionally chiming in whenever we are struggling with some minor Super Metroid factoids. And this has been a very interesting race where both runners initially missed each other's items, but Breakdown recovered and got his bow before Pikapals just recently got his Titan's Mitts.
Hello.
I'm getting seriously spooked here.
Also, second item in Misery Mire was the green rupee in the big chest. Rude.
Very rude. As a bit of a reminder of the runner standings in the tournament, both Pikapals and Breakdown are 3-1, and this is the last round in the Swiss stages, so they are looking to clinch that 4-1 record so that they have a chance of getting into the top 8. Whoever loses here is going to be out of the tournament, so everything to play for here.
Breakdown stocking up on potions, not a bad idea, especially if we need to go to Turtle Rock.
neither of our runners are deciding to get spooky inside Misty Mile, though to get spooky they have to be setting that up quite a bit before here, so they're just going through the regular non-spooky way. Because we've only just had Christmas, and you don't really want to get spooky at Christmas. All that stuff is for October.
I take it that you haven't seen any of the Scrooge movies?
Christmas movies, my preference tends to be Die Hard.
An excellent choice, sir. Alright, Pikapals has taken out Vitreous, and Breakdown is about to go inside Turtle Rock. With we have had a lot of vanilla-based items this seed now that I realize. The medallions were vanilla, a lot of the big keys were vanilla. Even Gravity's suit was close to vanilla.
Alright, we've got some golden tweetser action here for Pikapals, so he's got him up against the wall, he's going to stand on his foot and just use charged wave shots at him apparently. No plasma beam yet. Now he's done some damage, so he's just going to throw a couple of supers at him. The tweetser is going to throw the supers right back, but whilst he's throwing supers, he will take damage from extra supers. And down he goes on Pikapals' last super.
There's your tempered sword.
Yeah, Breakdown has no problems now whatsoever. Pikapals is ducking back out of Norfair. They're probably going to go over to Ice Palace next. Maybe Turtle Rock too. See if they can clear out Dark Death Mountain, he get that Ice Rod and then probably hop straight to Turtle Rock. But yeah, it looks like he's going Ice Palace first.
Maybe Pikapals would have preferred Space Jump for the approaching Ridley? I know I would.
Yeah, Space Jump and Screw Attack are not required, but they just make it a lot easier and less time consuming. We still have no idea where those are. They're probably lurking in Storm Palace at this point.
If they're technically not logically required, could they end up in Ganon's Tower?
Yes. No Super Metroid items that are required for progression can be found in Ganon's Tower, but if you say like you find the Space Jump and Screw Attack and all that lovely stuff, but you don't find the Speed Booster, and you don't need a Speed Booster for anything like, say, the Speed Booster blocks in Meridia, you could find a Speed Booster in Ganon's Tower itself. This time, Speed Booster was required for progression because he needs to get into the early Super Swim in Green Brinstar with them before you even got the Morph Ball. But it looks like this time Space Jump is or Screw Attack are the items we don't need for Go Mode, so they could well be in Ganon's Tower.
Also, that was another vanilla big key. We've had a lot of those this seed. Breakdown not even going to check out Mimic Cave, but I don't like this play that Breakdown's doing. If the upcoming chest does not have a small key, then that means Breakdown would have had to go around anyway. I don't like this. This is a gamble, and it may not take long to recover from it, but I do not like this play.
will cost him some time if he doesn't find a small key on Laser Bridge. But really, he's so far ahead of Pikapals now that he's going to have to make a lot of mistakes like this in order for Pika to catch up. And honestly, I don't see Breakdown making those kind of mistakes. He's a 3-1 runner. He's gone through a lot of people to get to this point in the tournament already. He's probably assuming that Pikapals got the Titan Smiths at the same time as him from the Waterway, and is just going for the slightly risky gambles to try and get an advantage here. But he doesn't know that he is really, really far ahead of Pikapals at this point.
We have money, mushroom, energy tank, that's all the items. Is this a key? Yes, it is.
I mean, it would have been better for him if that was the first chest he checked, but the gamble did pay off.
Plus, we have an extra energy tank for safety when we take on Mother Brain. Pikapals finding the second item in Ice Palace bombs. And the third item, another energy tank.
Alright, Trinex here. He's not going to be a big problem with Tempered Sword. A couple of Rod Shots and 5 Tempered Sword hits are enough to take out each of the small heads.
Of course, remember that this boss's name is called Trinex. We have to take out the third. And there we go. Third one is down. So, with Breakdown now having 7 crystals, Lenofis, if you want to activate it, there we go. So, Breakdown is about to enter Ganon's Tower. There are 22 possible locations where the big key is located. Just put in a number between 1 and 22, inclusive integers only. And if you are the closest and happen to be a Speed Gaming supporter, you will be given a shout out and placed on our leaderboard.
I'm going to go with my regular guess of 19, and I've already got somebody in the chat yelling at me for it. Sorry.
I actually put in my number while giving the explanation, number 10. And Pikapals has now finished Ice Palace. Alright, this game is about to close. We are... Oh, thank you again, Lenofis. Alright, 22 locations. Starting with right side. Number 1, small key. Number 2, missiles.
Breakdown's choosing not to go to the right side first, so he's going to go left for now.
Number 3, super missiles. Bob will live.
In combo randomizer, Bob lives either way. He doesn't get his glitched out sprite in the combo, even if you leave the item on the torch.
I was not aware of that. Number 4, golden sword. Number 5, small key. Number 6, more missiles. Number 7, bugnet. There you are.
Well, if you want more safety, you can now catch him on your way out of Ganon's Tower. I only found 2 bottles in this seed, and they are stuffed with blue potions on Breakdown side, so not going to be catching any fairies for now. Pikapals is making their way into Turtle Rock, and they're going to be checking out a few more additional items here. They can't check out Mimic Cave because we have no idea where Mirror is, but maybe we'll see something like the space jump or screw attack and like possibly the big chest or something.
Well, at least Pikapals will get that ice rod. Chest number 8, map room had the compass. So now we're on chest 9, the fire bar room. Or fire snake room, excuse me. Just gotta push this across, hookshot over, and piece of heart. And now chests 10 through 13, the rando room. Not only is this, a room that primarily randomizer players check out, but you also have to step on a seemingly random piece of tile that's always the same right there. Chest number 10, Rupee. Chest 11. Oh, I had hiccups at that point, but we're still playing, folks.
Yeah, those were just blue rupees and missiles.
Confirmed on the replay, thank you. So now we just have to go across the invisible bridge. Or if you are like Breakdown, just bonk onto the last part of the invisible bridge, like so. Chest 14, Bob, I don't know what happened, but 14 is not it.
I can tell you that Bob is a regular hostile anti-fairy and is taking much of Breakdown's magic with those hits. Ooh, Pikapals takes a death somewhere. No, he was on the roller room and he took an intentional death there to death warp to the start. He's fine.
That's what I was thinking. Alright, chest 15. Red rupee, 16. Small key, 17. Cape. Oh gosh, cape may actually be useful for tile room.
And right side was the play. We even had the key to get over to the right side to begin with, but he chose to skip it.
So
Gonna
now
pick up a couple
comes...
fairies here.
Yeah, so now comes the interesting question. Will Breakdown check tile room first or last?
I mean, unless you're completely insane, you check it last.
It's not every day I see runners actually use that small key on that door. I admit I don't like it.
Oh, he's going to be fine going with keys going up to the top of Gan's tag because he's banking on finding the big key in the next room, and after that he'll go take the teleporter, get into the conveyor belt room, and get the small key from the pot there, which he can use to send up to Gan's tag to the top. He will have to claim a small key from the Helmet source near the top, but that will be it.
That is a fair point. Breakdown should be fine key-wise at that point. Alright, here we go. Chest 18, full heart container. Chest 19, another heart container. Chest 20, there's the space jump. 21 is the big key. Oh, we were so close, folks. But not this time. 21 is your winner.
Yeah, let me interrupt you there. The player I was talking about where Breakdown it gets a small key from the pots in the next room. He's not doing it.
Oh no! Is Breakdown's retreating? Wait, has to retreat because there's no mirror, but oh no, Breakdown. Unless Breakdown is gambling that there is a small key along the way upstairs, this is not good. Also, while we have a chance to recover from that, Smitty Nova, congratulations! You were correct on the guessing game.
If you check chests in a different order, I would have gotten my third win there.
So... here is is where I need someone more versed in Link to the Past here. Can a small key be in one of the 2 Helmasaur chests at the top?
I don't believe it can, because he has looted all the small keys possible from the basement. He used the one small key to cross over into the other side instead of taking the stairs.
So
I mean,
he
it could be
did collect
entire
4 So he did collect 4 small keys through chests, correct?
I think it's possible he could grab one, because it could be, say, like one in, chat's saying right now, there could be entire room, and so if there could be one entire room, there could be one in the upstairs chests, but it's a tricky gamble.
Yeah, I admit I do not like this play that Breakdown is doing. It is possible that he just forgot about that location. The question right now, were 3 small keys gotten in the basement dive so far? If it was no more than 3, then Breakdown's gamble has some merit. If 4 were grabbed, though, this play makes no sense.
Now, Pikapals is taking down Trinex, and this is a kind of routing choices that could lead Pikapals to get ahead in Cannon's Tower. The problem for Pikapal is he's still down Ridley. Ridley takes a long time to get down to kill and get back up. So this doesn't put Breakdown behind Pikapals at all. Even if he doesn't find a small key and has to return and go get one, Pika is still going to be way behind, even if he makes that right side play first, gets a big key, and gets up the tower ahead of Breakdown.
So Chad is bringing up a good point. I think throughout this match, both Breakdown and Pikapals have felt that they've been behind throughout. And so maybe Breakdown is just hoping that there's a small key up at the top. But we have to get through the 2 quad torch rooms first.
Pika goes right first, as almost everyone does first. Checks out the 2 chests here, probably going to continue right with that 1 small key. No, he is going left. Ooh. I guess the lack of mirror is really disincentivizing that particular route for them, because they can't just go into the 4 chest room, pick up the big key there, then go to the next room, pick up a small key, then mirror to the front.
Alright, Breakdown is opening chests. E-Tank at 22 effectively. Piece of heart. Only the consolation chest will save Breakdown from having to head back to the bottom of the tower. Oh my goodness. Alright, consolation chest is the key to get a key, and it's not a key, it's a map! And he just realized. Oh no, he's taking an intentional death to go back to the basement.
Well, this is the risky play, and he's made a couple gambles already which have paid off for him. This one did not. So yeah, he is going right again. He's going to go past the room where he got the big key, grab a small key from the pot, and then probably have to death warp back to the front once more, and make his way up the tower once more. Still not going to cost him a race. It is going to cost him a lot of time. But not the race. Not yet. Especially with Pika's decision to go full left.
Ocelot, he's checking tile room.
Uh-oh.
It looks like we're getting a tile room play anyway. So if this is not a small key, that meant Breakdown did find all 4 of them. Then the question becomes, will he remember that small key after right side? And Chad, I don't think Big Chest can have it.
This is-
There we go.
this is-
Tile room delivers, just not in the traditional sense. Ocelot, I think this seat is bonkers. So it is time to go through the gauntlet once again.
Yeah, with
So-
not a lot of health remaining. He's
Break
got
down
blue
the-
potions.
Yeah, that is true, so at least we can recharge in a pinch. But yeah, this is just going to be... I mean, no one wants to have to go through Gauntlet twice in a row.
He is going to be stalking that IRC now, looking for that dot done from Pika any moment now. It's not going to happen because Pika still has to do with the... Honestly, I could see Pika being quite upset about missing that waterway check because this has literally cost him the race. His routing has been pretty excellent on par with breakdowns most of the time, and he has had gained advantages in significant places like checking out that King Zora earlier for the bow. It's just that one waterway has cost Pika the race because it got him his Dark World access and getting into the lower parts of Super Metroid much later. Oh no, Pika!
Pika's also fell behind, and now he's going for the tile room gambit as well. In this case, it will be 22 for Pikapals, just not in the traditional What has happened with this seed? I mean, it's not just the seed here, but still. Those that have guessed 22, you may not get the win in the technical sense, but you win in spirit, so get some brownie points for that, I guess. Alright, let's see. Yep, there's 19 for Pikapals, then 20, then 21, and then 22. Just... we had double tile room plays for completely different reasons, and it wasn't... and it technically wasn't even required. Ocelot, how often do we get to see situations like that?
The last time I saw a tile room check, I couldn't even see it. It was on, I believe, Oats and Goats' stream. His video had cut out, his audio was still going. So we heard him go down the stairs, check out the first two chests, go straight into tile room, and then I thought, yeah, from the sound, he's probably going to go to the fire rod room. Wait, why do I hear all these spinning tiles? We didn't see what the item was, but he definitely checked out that tile room.
Alright, first quad torch room, success. Approaching the second one, no sprite glitch in play, so that helps, as Pikapals is about to enter the gauntlet. And chat, that is correct. Pikapals has not taken out Ridley yet, so... in this case, Pikapals is an entire boss behind, but has to be careful, down to 1 heart.
If he takes a death here, this is going to be equivalent to breakdown's double ascent of a tower. But he does make it across the cannonball room, and he's going to pick up some fairies here.
Alright, Breakdown has taken out Moldorm 2. And raids Moldorm's last super missiles, Breakdown, you thief!
I mean, he's checked every single other chest in here, when he didn't need to.
The only chest not checked was the big chest. Now I kind of have to wonder if that's where the mirror was located. And now, time for some advanced geometry.
Yeah, Aga may have barely lived up in his tower in the light world, but in the dark tower here, he still has to die. Ooh, these Agas are getting a bit out of sync here. That's a nice lineup. Still only gets a single.
Alright, Aga 2 is down.
And Pika's making his way to the top of the gauntlet. So he saves a little bit of time here, even though he spent as much time in the basement as he possibly could have. Same as Breakdown. And he's flopping a few of those firework shots in the pots and then falling down the pit. Don't get a despawn now, Pika, that would be bad. He goes up these... Yeah, there we go. He goes the slight pause there of the door behind him is shutting, so he avoided the despawn. If you go up the stairs at the wrong time and the door in that room is... the previous room is shutting, you despawn a tower, which means there's no enemies to be found up here, no Moldorm to be found. Even if you can hover across the gap, there's no Agatu, so you cannot finish the tower either. Anyway.
Yeah, that's definitely not a pretty situation. Wait, oh no! Pikapals forgot a key!
Yeah, he has to go back 2 rooms to get one.
Oh, at least we didn't have to go up the gauntlet like a 4th time between our 2 runners. Anyway, Ganon was talking about slugs, but may end up turning into one shortly. Breakdown has just a few more hits left to land silver arrows on. Oh, not quite. One more hit should do.
Takes a bat to the face, but it doesn't matter at this point. Down goes Ganon for Breakdown, and assuming he does make it across his bridge, which is a mistake you very, very rarely see, but does happen, get your single G's in chat for Breakdown. Just 1 G. No more, no less.
Alright. Breakdown has finished off 1 game. Now we just have to finish the other. Final... I don't know if Breakdown is going to recharge to at least get some super missiles. Yeah. Let's get those final numbers. 140, 60, 30, 8 energy tanks. Yeah, we are equipped.
It feels like the whole of Swamp Palace is just holding the missing items on the track right now. We are well stocked on ammo. I still speculate where that mirror was, because I would be required to even get in Swamp Palace in the first place. Shacktor mirror, perhaps?
That would be evil. Alright. And now, with all of the bosses defeated, well, the main bosses, it is time to descend to Torian, the lava lab city filled with rampaging Metroids, and the greatest restaurant on the planet.
Honestly, the Metroid care here is shockingly appallingly. well, shockingly appalling. You're supposed to keep your Metroids in glass cages that easily break as soon as Samus walks past them. But here they're just flying free and loose.
I think you've played a little bit too much Metroid Prime there. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's an excellent game.
I mean, that game just had enemies busting out of all of their cages in the glass cages. You had the elite pilots in the phase of mine turrets. As soon as you looked at them, they'll just be like, "Ah, I'm gonna break out of here." Pirate security was terrible.
Alright, Pikapals has completed Link to the Past as well, but Breakdown is already approaching the last Metroid.
No high jump boots, so I doubt he's gonna go for a baby Metroid skip here. So he's probably gonna take off his suits and just run into the side hopper a bit. Yeah, here he goes. So it takes a bunch of damage from the side hopper here, and then when the baby Metroid latches on, it's going to eat Samus very, very quickly.
Remember to face right, folks. You apparently save multiple frames that way.
I think it's 2/3 of a whole second. Many frames. Oh, facing... Oh no, he's facing low. Save the frames. Do not save the animals.
Save the animals! Metroid Fusion is canon!
Is it really canon at this point? Nintendo have refused to make any kind of Metroid game based after Metroid Fusion. It's been endless prequels ever since.
We don't talk about that prequel.
Hey, Metroid Prime was a good prequel, so was Metroid Prime 2. I didn't play Prime 3, but that was certainly better than some other theoretical games that may or may not exist.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Those three are fine. Anyway, let's go to a more lighthearted topic. Breakdown is about to enter McBrainy's, home with multiple foods and drinks of your choice. Want some breakfast? We've got plenty of Cheerios. Want some snacks? We've got Twizzlers. Want to actually go straight to the main course? Just bypass the Twizzlers. And they just disappear.
Yeah, with the smart use of Wave Beam and Ice Beam there, you can clip straight through the Turkey Twizzler, also known as a Rinker, and just make your way through without having to fight any more Twizzlers/Rinkers.
And then you get to encounter Chef Mother Brain, who is angry that you not only bypassed her systems, but also taken away her glass case. And if there's one thing you need to know, folks, especially during this holiday season, never anger the chef that prepares all the food, or else, they get extremely angry. And then they launch their own, kitchen food supply at you. That happens to include chicken nuggets. That includes french fries. That includes onion rings. And if you are extremely bad, you will have to deal with ketchup. Now, fortunately, Breakdown is able to handle things just fine right now, dodging the ketchup without a problem. But then you have to remember one more thing. Mother Brain is still an angry chef, and now you have to deal with the ice cream of doom.
Honestly, look at that Mother Brain drooling. She's getting hungry over her own food.
But the last Metroid forces Mother Brain to have a taste of her own medicine, and let's just say that Hyper Beam flavored ice cream is apparently not good for Mother Brain either.
Yeah, don't eat your ice cream too quickly, you'll get a headache. Don't also let Metroids attach to your head, you'll also get a headache that way. Also possible death. I don't think ice cream has ever killed anybody.
This is the worst type of brain freeze ever. However, the brain freeze does not last forever.
Clearly disapproving of sweet treats, Mother Brain just fires a bunch of savory onion rings back at the baby Metroid.
The last Metroid is in Samus. The galaxy is enraged. And now, to borrow a phrase from Peakhole 444444, give or take a 4, taste the rainbow.
Alright, Breakdown. You've taken down the chef. You've now going to have a spontaneously exploding kitchen to deal with.
Self-destructing kitchens are never a good thing to deal with. Not even Gordon Ramsay goes this far.
Yeah, he'd probably just go for the destruction himself rather than relying on a mechanism to do it for him. He needs to see the patrons of the restaurants die personally. Don't rely on time bombs to kill off your video game protagonists. They never seem to work.
Well, if there's one good advantage here, at least Mother Brain doesn't make food as bad as Amy's Baking Company. And Pikapals now catching up, taking on Ridley, but this is likely too little too late. Alright, no camera shenanigans for Breakdown. Most likely the animals are not going to be saved, which means the established canon is going to be ruined for this race. Maybe next time, folks.
Honestly, whoever heard of monkeys piloting a spaceship? It's ridiculous.
Well, regardless of your thoughts on canon, Breakdown has finished both games and has an official SRL time first place with 3 hours 17 minutes 16 seconds. Get your GGs out in chat. Also, another vanilla energy tank in Ridley's reward room.
GG to both of our runners.
And I will make sure Breakdown is good for an interview, or never mind, Breakdown is good for an interview. GG, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. That was a seed. That was definitely a seed.
This has got to be one of the most back and forth combo randomizer seeds I've ever seen. They wanted you to jump between the games almost constantly.
It seemed like. I gotta say, I didn't feel too good when I saw Moon Pro, where it was. I could have gone back and got that a lot sooner than I did. It kind of worked out though, because once I hit Dark World, I kind of knew I might have been in go mode for a while there, but I was missing a lot of nice to haves. So I ran around and did checks and like dungeons that would be like that weren't too arduous to full clear, like did Skull and Thieves. But in the back of my mind, it's like that Mire pendant's there. But then I found like Plasma and Charge, and I didn't have a way up worst room in the game yet. So when I saw more Ball Bombs and Skull, I was like, I need to get to Mire, and I need to get to Mire in a hurry. But
Yeah,
that's heat.
Pika actually has gone to Ganon's Tower before making the trip down to Ridley, so they are actually making their way back out of Ridley's there for Space Jump right now. It is
Oh wow.
a lot more convenient for them. The
Yeah,
play that separated
been
you two the most here was the Waterway and the Titan Smitzer.
I felt really bad at the time. Like, so went down there and it didn't realize right away that I didn't have enough health for the spark. So I farmed up power bombs and I was like, wait, I can farm up health and just get this. And because that's a very orphan location. And when I saw it was mids, I was really, really happy I didn't. But I felt kind of behind with all the back and forth I did right there. But there was I have information from the future in our race chat. Pika chimed in saying you basically last location those mids. Yeah, that'll set you back. Definitely will.
Yeah, he didn't even try to check them on his way through the pink print the first time. He did get the bow much sooner than you because he actually went and farmed some cash outside of desert to go get the King's Sword check in nice and early and got that bow much sooner than you did. So if he had gotten his Titan Smith, he would probably have had the advantage for most of his race, but he didn't, and so the race was yours for the taking.
That worked out. I did everything I could to give it away at a couple points. That's the first time I've ever. This is my first mirrorless seed. It's the first time that's never showed up for me, so I wasn't ready for how to deal with Ganon's tower. And yeah, completely spaced that I didn't have a key. On the way up, I realized it basically as soon as I walked into the room with the mini Helmosaurs. And yeah, I was like, oh please, one of these 3 chests, please, please, please. And then no, I had to go back and do tile room. And yeah, no, I was just watching the race channel after that and just waiting for the dot done to show up like 5 minutes before I finished, because that's probably about how much time that cost me.
The funny thing is, you didn't have to do tile room. There was one more small key in a pot that was beyond the right side 4 chests.
Ah, that's actually coming back to it. I'm not sure. Tower that was probably be a little faster than tile room, probably a little faster. But yeah, I didn't keep going because I didn't clock. I didn't have a key. So
The right side play was the play to make here. Just go to the right, pick up that big key, get the key beyond, and then take a death warp to the front because no mirror.
yeah, no, I did think about going full right. Full right to play, I basically never make. But then I wasn't consciously thinking I didn't have mirror until I was down there. It's like, oh, I have to go back now, but I can't go back because I don't have mirror. And then just ran up the stairs. So yeah, that would have saved a big chunk of time certainly. But what you gonna do?
Pikapals, for the record, it has just entered Super Metroid for the final time, and is soon about to deal with the troubles that is Mother Brain's kitchen.
He actually picked up the high jump boots. They were sitting in Mickey Mouse room.
Yeah, no, watching the stream, saw that reverse escape. Very nice. I never thought about going through Mickey Mouse when you do that. It's only so often you get the opportunity to, though. So.
I've seen it done quite recently. It wasn't a race with Lack Attack. They were having problems with their console, hard crashing when they were trying to exit out of the normal way out of Ridley's lair. So they had to go backwards through the acid room and take the door transition into Link to the Past to get out of Ridley. They had to kill Ridley a couple times because of those hard resets. Lost him in a lot of progress, including the boss kills.
It's interesting. Fortunately, a crash I personally have never experienced, and hope not to, going forward.
Speaking of going forward with this, you are at 4-1, which means either you're guaranteed to make it into the bracket rounds, or there's still one last obstacle. I don't remember how the breakdown works exactly here, pardon the pun.
I see what you did there. Very clever. But yeah, no, if you'd have told me 5 weeks ago that I'd get more than 5 races out of this tournament, I wouldn't have believed you. I think right now I'm guaranteed a top 10 finish. I don't feel like I'm one of the 10 best players in this field by any stretch of the imagination, but I get to keep going forward. Watching what it's let's see, Strizer and Raikou and Total and Ventisi that determine whether or not we need the tiebreaker. There can be anywhere from, I think it's 6 to 9 people with 4-1 records, with 1 or 2 that don't make it, depending on how those 2 turn out. So yeah, I'll be watching those definitely.
I'm not quite sure how if we are going to have tiebreaker matches or if it's just going to go by the standings on talents. The challenge page itself says that in the case of ties and Swiss rounds, it's going to be decided by who has got the more valuable win, so against higher seeded people. So it remains to be seen.
I thought it said in the actual like rule stating that the tiebreaker would be done by a tiebreaker race. I thought it did. I could be wrong, but
I'm just having a look at the challenge page again just to confirm that actually.
I know they have that Buchholz rating or whatever in the actual standings, but
Okay, yeah, it does say ties to enter the top 8 will be broken by tiebreaker race between all tied participants. Ties for rank within the top 8 will be broken randomly.
okay, so tiebreaker race then, yeah. So it'll be so either in the top 8 or have a race where I have to not lose. So against some very good players. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, like I said, I'm happy to be at this stage personally. I didn't see this happening at all when I entered, so it's like I had like maybe a month's worth of experience with the randomizer when this thing kicked off. I've learned a lot. Definitely leveled up my game a little bit in the last month or so here. Still a ways to go, definitely, but it's been a lot of fun and looking forward to keep playing, definitely.
Yeah, this does put you in an absolute great standing in the tournament, regardless of if you win if you have to play a tiebreak or not, if you win your tiebreak or not. In the best case scenario, you don't have to play a tiebreak at all, and you advance through to the brackets. And if you can get even further in the brackets, you stand a chance of winning some nice cash prizes.
Not one step at a time. And if I make the top 8, I think I'm probably going to be the one everybody wants to get matched up against. I think that's I feel safe saying that I do. So if you want to root for an underdog, root for me. But yeah, and it's randomizer. They play the games for a reason. Crazy things can happen. So I mean, I don't think there's anybody in the field I'm incapable of taking 2 games off of out of 3. It's just some will have to get luckier than others. That's for sure. So, but see what happens. I'm looking forward to how this rest of this week plays out, and we'll know from there.
Skill and luck is necessary for these combo randomizers, or really any randomizer. Pikapals going for the safety save just inside Mother Brain's restaurant. And yeah. Look on the bright side, Breakdown. You at least get to relax for a few days and wait to see what happens.
There's that. So I'm curious with AGDQ coming up, how they're gonna work this tiebreaker, or the top 8 for that matter, if they're gonna make everybody.
I don't believe they're going to be playing holding any races at all during AGDQ. The tournament is just going to be on hold during that. Same as the Link to the Past 4 tournament.
Yeah, well, there's the basically the short week ahead of time. Like I know, like I'm going to AGDQ, and I'll be there leaving for that on Saturday. So if they're trying to organize a 9-man race New Year's week, that could be interesting. We'll see how that shakes out.
Yeah, I can confirm. I'm also hoping to be at AGDQ. So who knows? Maybe we can actually attempt to commentate a race live. But I don't know how well that'll work if it's supposed to be blind to all the runners.
Yeah, that's isolation boosts or something haven't made their way into the practice rooms yet. So
one step at a time, folks.
We'll get there. Give it time.
So I haven't seen the GDQ schedule. Are they going to be playing any randomizer there?
There's a free enterprise race, Final Fantasy IV free enterprise.
Oh, okay. I've seen a couple of races of that, but Final Fantasy IV is a game I do not know well at all.
It's a very well done randomizer. Very well done. Free enterprise is a lot of fun, and pretty friendly to like newer players too. The community for Final Fantasy IV is huge and very welcoming. Good people. So, but that should be a lot of fun. I think that's the only randomizer we have on the schedule, I believe. So. Yeah, now this was an interesting seed though. The low health Phantoon fight was something I was not too excited to do.
Oh yes, so both of you actually saw that energy tank in the back of Gauntlet. Both of you skipped that, and you both had to take on Phantoon with just one extra energy tank. Pika actually took a death there initially and got it the second time, and you managed to get it on your first attempt.
Skin of my teeth. That was a hairy fight. triggered the 5th cycle, and oh, that felt bad. That felt real bad. I thought I was gonna die.
And I saw you dip down to 4 energy left, no reserves at one point, and you
I've never
just
been-
managed to pull through.
Never been happier to see a health bomb after a boss fight. That's for sure. I was fine on ammo, but all that lovely health, those pink glowing orbs, that was fantastic. But yeah, between that and no mirror, bombs as your lower Norfair access, it did some things. It definitely did. So,
Given the way the items worked out, Pig indeed went and got that space jump from Ganon's Tower. It logically wasn't required, but it's so useful to have for Ridley's there. That some time could have been saved there if he had gone to Ganon's Tower as soon as possible rather than clear out Super Metroid. But it's Rando, you don't really know what's going to be down there. For all we know, all of the items could have been in the Swamp Palace.
yeah, that's something to consider. Just holding off on that. It was more a case of like that was the biggest hurdle left for me. When I got those bombs, I was just like, I can do this now, and there's nothing else holding me back from finishing the game. So I figured get the hardest part out of the way first. It might have been prudent to just hold off and see if I got something to make it easier. Because yeah, bomb jumping slow. Definitely not the most fun way to do things. Looks like Pika's gonna be joining us pretty soon here.
He's got 3 minutes.
So then I guess the next question, will Pikapals maintain canon and save the animals?
I guess would be no, but I could be wrong here.
You've got to try and save as many frames as possible. Both of you went for unnecessary tower rooms, and that's a lot of lost frames right there.
Yeah, I'd be curious how that times out actually. Like if you're coming from like the front of Ganon's Tower, if it's faster to do tower room or to just charge back and get the key. It's probably pretty close. Tower room does take a long time though.
Depends on your health, because essentially you'd have to go get that small key from the pot past the big key, and then death warp to the front because of no mirror. But you can just jump down pits there to take a single heart of damage each time. But yeah, if you're sitting on like 14 hearts of health, that still takes quite a long time.
Yeah, and hard hat beetle won't kill you too quick on blue mail. So that's probably really close. I'm actually curious. I am genuinely curious what was the smarter play there. Either way, it's close though, so I don't regret doing tower room in that particular situation. I regret going up Ganon's Tower without the extra key, but
The one question I had for you, did you ever consider finishing off Eastern and potentially Pod?
can't say that I did with the way the items showed up, because basically as soon as I was running around Village Outcast, I was like, I'm on the brink of go mode here. It's like there's not much that I need unless I'm missing a medallion. Actually, fun little anecdote, I didn't have Ether marked on my tracker, so I was thinking I was like 33% go mode depending on what the Meyer thing was, but I forgot I never marked Ether. And then I saw it and I was like, wait, I did pick that up, and thought I was ready to go. But yeah, there was no real reason with the loadout that I had to think about going back there. Like maybe that probably would have been high on the list, if Pod at least, if Bombos was the medallion. But I would have, let's see what, that was in Lower Norfair. I saw peeked that on the way out and skipped it. That's right, that was in Three Musketeers. So maybe not. Depends if I went into Lower Norfair then or not. But I wouldn't have had a real reason to. I was really, really happy Tempered and Gold Sword showed up. Tempered especially, just right on the way. Because I was not looking forward to, even with Silvers, my Master Sword Ganon is something that needs some work. Tempered.
All right, Pikapals did finish in second place, 3 hours, 32 minutes, 18 seconds. Let's bring him in.
It's a good time on the seed. The seed was brutal.
Pikapals, GG.
Hey, GG.
GG, sir.
This was not the friendliest of seeds, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it was kind of a perfect showcase of things I can't do in Super Metroid. Between like low health Phantoon and remembering that that item in Pink Brinstar that requires the speed booster to get exists.
That's known as the Waterway. But trust me when I say everyone struggles with low energy Phantoon. I mean, you would be surprised how often Phantoon causes resets.
Yeah, Phantoon's pretty rough. I'm pretty happy with getting through him second try. It's just like getting the mitts the first time through Brinstar would have made things so much faster.
But
We were talking about
go ahead.
we were talking about this with Breakdown. You actually managed to get the bow from King Zora much earlier than Breakdown, and that was the main thing separating you two for a while. You had the bow much sooner than Breakdown. He had the Titan Smiths much sooner than you. But if you had gotten the Titan Smiths, that would probably have given you the edge on this face, unfortunately.
Yeah, I kind of figured that maybe he wouldn't get the bow until late, since I had to do a lot of grinding to get there. And I probably wouldn't have done that grinding if I hadn't needed to check Agana anyway.
I didn't get those until after I cleared out Meridia. There was a bunch of rupee packs in there. So I just got the money organically.
Wreck ship, there were like 200-300 rupee drops there. Yeah, I believe it was Breakdown had gotten the 200-300 rupees from the wreck ship, then he went down Red Tower into Norfair, took a quick trip out to Death Mountain in Norfair, went over to King Zora, got the bow, and that's he was many crystals behind you, Pika, at that point, but that gave him the item advantage, and he just got ahead from there.
Yeah, it could just be really hard to come back from last locationing an item like that. Especially when it's one you could get like super early if you wanted it.
There were a few points when I feel like both of you were on muscle memory because you're going through Ganon's tower and you're looking for your mirror and it's like, oh wait, that's right. There's no mirror in this seed. What do we do?
I'm sure you know all about that, Lenifis.
Yeah, I was pretty disappointed not having that mirror. Like, not having the mirror is the only reason I went left side first, which lost a lot of time, but you never know with that one. It's just, I feel like left side has a better chance of having the key.
I did the same thing, and then proceeded to forget to grab an extra key for the trip up and had to do it twice. Go back down and do tile room. That was fun. So
Yeah, I just did tile room on my way over.
I definitely
Figured
thought
I
about
was,
it. Without
I was
the
miles
mirror,
behind anyway.
I was watching the race chat. Basically, as soon as like I had my game's tower botch, I was just watching the race chat, waiting for that dot done to show up. I felt really behind. It's pretty genuinely surprised it didn't happen. So, but good race, man, definitely.
Yeah, good race.
GG to both of you, indeed.
Agreed. Shoutouts to Breakdown and Pikapals for giving us an excellent race. Please give them a follow if you haven't already. Along with my commentary partner, Revolving Ocelot, and our tracker slash commentator as well, Lenofis. But for those that want more Super Metroid Link to the Past combo randomizer action, head on over to Speed Gaming 2 now. Andy versus Zost. That is going to be an excellent match. But for those that want to focus more on Link to the Past side, head on over to Speed Gaming for the Objectively Better Categories Marathon, where we show off many different ways of playing Link to the Past. So, Ocelot, I think that covers everything from my end. You want to close things out?
Yeah, sure. That was yet another excellent race. We're coming into the end of the Swiss stages now, and things are starting to come into place for how the top 8 is going to look and who's going to be possibly playing a tiebreaker to get into that top 8. So things are looking great coming into the end of the Swiss stages now, and I am suddenly looking forward to the rest. So yeah, I've been Revolving Ocelot. Thank you for joining us tonight, and see you in the next race.